At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour. We would tell you that this ain't your mom's radio station, but Clayton's mom listens every week. You found Q Talk America, home of The Show with Clayton McKee, Marnie Ryer, Kat Carlson, and Al Perkins. We will be starting tonight's broadcast at the top of the hour. By the way, we're a 3-hour show, so grab a beverage and get comfortable. If you have a topic you'd like us to talk about or a question for the cast, please post it in the chat room or on our Facebook page. Simply look for The Show with Clayton McKee on Facebook. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. We're just getting prepared, mixing cocktails and settling in for 3 hours of chat and some non-PC fun. From wherever you're listening or watching our show, let us know where in the world you are by posting in the chat room or hit us up on Facebook. Just look up The Show with Clayton McKee. At the beginning of hour 2 is when Al gives us our drinking word for the night. Grab a beverage and drink along with the cast as they get rolling. You found Q Talk America. Tonight's live broadcast will start at the top of the hour.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Just want to let everybody know we're going to be starting about a quarter after the hour. Just letting you know if you're listening right now, quarter after the hour is when we're going to be starting. We have some weather here in Phoenix, and everybody's running late.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Again, if you're listening, the live show starts at about a quarter after the hour. We'll have a full cast tonight. Kat Carlson's running a little bit late because of a Pride meeting, but otherwise everybody should be here. And again, starting at about a quarter after.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Once again, if you guys are already listening, thank you for doing so. We're running just a little bit late with everybody. Weather is a factor. Everybody else is a little tardy. We'll be starting the show at about a quarter after the hour, so stick with us if you will.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Once again, if you guys are just tuning in to listen, we're a little bit delayed. Have some weather delays in Phoenix. We'll be starting the show at about a quarter after the hour. So stick with us.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Once again, everybody, if you're out there listening already, we're going to be starting the show about a quarter after the hour. We're just getting into the studio and settled in, so hang tight. We'll be right there.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
For those of you who are just listening, just a reminder, we have not forgotten you. We'll be starting the show in just a few minutes. Hang on.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Wherever you go, you can listen to the news. You can sleep with the blues on this wonderful, wonderful station. Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
A little late, but never fear. We are here. Just like the mail in the United States, sleet nor rain nor snow will keep us away from you. What is that for?
Have no fear.
Have no fear. Okay.
Oh. It's Mighty Mouse or something.
What's
Mighty Mouse.
Oh, well.
Have no fear. Mighty Mouse is here.
Does Mighty Mouse deliver the mail?
Right?
He's very busy.
Did I miss a step?
Yes, Vermin now bring mail to your house. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course they do.
Still a rat.
For those of you wondering
A rat is a rat.
why any bit of rain would delay the show starting, you have no idea how people in Phoenix react and drive when a little bit of rain hits the windshield, let alone the streets in this city. It's nuts. They just lose their mind.
Included.
Oh, stop it.
I can throw no stones on that one. I'm the one that didn't know how to use my windshield wipers
That's
that
fair.
time and had to pull over.
That's fair.
It's a valid point. Very
Also,
true.
You're from Buffalo.
Well, different
Again,
car.
after
He's at a different car.
Yeah, exactly. How
How
long did I have a driver's license there?
You moved when
Less
you were
than 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still. I call
Okay.
bullshit.
And it was a long time ago. I mean, it was always raining. I don't want you to think Niagara Falls is anything but rain, but
That's true.
Lush
least-
areas.
at least the last year I lived there, I thought, will this never end?
Come on. We need a day of
Do
sunshine.
I need an arc?
I know a guy.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to go down to that museum and see if I could get any tips.
Sure, I can understand.
Just a quick
Just,
trip to Kentucky to find out how to build an arc.
wow. Okay, so if you're
Hey,
if
by
you're not
the way, passive aggressive.
if you're not in
This
the,
is for meow.
oh, look at that. Keep Minnesota passive aggressive.
Oh my
or
God,
not,
how
or not.
funny.
Whatever
Or not.
whatever you think is
Whatever
best.
you think is
Doesn't
best.
matter. What are you?
Yep, it's honest to
Are
God
you
from
hungry?
Meow
Meow Cow in the chat
know,
room.
whatever
For those of you
you
who
want.
are not in the chat room or are just listening to the live audio stream, Meow Cow, one of our visitors in the chat room, she says, "Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. I have an ongoing one-sided argument with Microsoft all day today, so I will be passive aggressively shitting on Microsoft throughout the night." By the way, just throw it out there, entire show supported by Microsoft software. So thank you. Aside from the two items that we use to actually record and or broadcast the audio stream, which are Apple products, everything else is Windows, and I personally love it.
I have
so.
Apple.
I don't want anybody to get all uppity on me on that shit.
I like all the things that would be quicker than a Windows 10 update.
Oh my God! Why are you just now doing a Windows 10 update?
Does it have anything to do with the year? Like, should he be on the Windows?
Well, no, but it's still Windows
18?
10. But my God, Windows 10 came out, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Computer boy.
Two-
Maybe it just got delivered.
I don't know. It just seems
You
like,
don't know.
wow, I don't know.
Sometimes it just takes a minute to read all the files. Like,
I thought you were gonna say to read all the fine print because nobody does.
I was just gonna say,
Except
there's a
Maybe
really
Alcal
funny
does.
there's a
Maybe
really
he
funny
might.
South Park about what happens to people that agree to things that they haven't read, and they end up in a human centipede situation. It was very funny.
okay, Meow Cow, Clayton will learn that I'm a guy before the updates get down. I don't.
Seriously.
I'm not exactly sure what's that
Because
statement.
you said she.
She. You
Oh, that.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's okay.
Oh my
It could
God.
be okay. It could just be the gay reference because everybody's a she.
Yeah, except it's not. And
Wait.
so
I don't get names
Marty,
right.
you're not fucking helping me.
Margarine.
I can't. I just can't on that one.
That's the
Yeah,
best
okay.
part. I can't get names right, and he doesn't get genders right.
Yeah.
So
I
really,
know.
it's a whole thing.
I just
right,
wrote. Now I know you.
totally.
I know you can't see this, but those shoes are beautiful. I wrote right here on my notepad, right there in the circle that you can't see because the
Is a lay?
It says no. Meow Cow's a boy.
Oh, I'm like-
Potentially could be a lay. I mean, depending on
now
how you.
that you know.
Yeah,
Well,
now that-
actually, both are possible. One's preferred.
Exactly. Now that you've had the
look at
update.
Nairobi and
So
Phoenix
Meow
have
Cow,
something in common.
Meow
Oh my
Cow,
God.
as one man to another.
Now, finally.
What the hell is? I don't know. Do you just have an issue with download speeds? I don't understand what the hell's going on.
It's cold there. It might not download fast.
Right.
I don't know, but
Could be Wi-Fi is.
I don't know, but I'm still surprised at
don't
the fact that you're just upgrading to Windows 10 from this point. I don't understand that.
I actually believe for a second that all cats were female.
Well, where do you
They're
think?
not.
Well, they can't be.
I know. I realized. I was like, oh, are they?
Oh boy.
We got some explaining to do. Ow.
Show me on the
Now I
Pooh
know there were
Bear.
birds and bees. I didn't. Were there cats?
Yeah, they are.
I have something for you boys.
Oh my gosh! This early in the show, and a gift or a present?
Yeah. Except I ain't giving it to you.
An even bigger bag of pistachios.
What do you mean you're not giving it to us? Doritos socks. Look at you.
Oh.
Look at you.
Do you remember when you did that story?
Yes.
Oh, is it the women, the female Doritos?
No.
Yeah, but what was the story about?
It was about Dorito socks. And
No,
you
no.
said Barney will get them. I bet
Oh.
Barney has them.
Oh, I was remembering the lady
I wish
Doritos
somebody would
'cause they
document
crunch
what
less.
this show talks about.
Jesus, I don't know how you people don't remember things.
I don't see where Dorito socks would stick with me for a real long time.
A big deal was made of it.
Okay.
So then I went
That
out
seems
and I
fair.
found the fucking socks.
I'm trying to
Okay.
figure out
I
a way
mean,
to be
they're-
passive aggressive
they're
about this.
super
Is what I'm
cute.
doing.
I'm being passive aggressive.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
How do you not
You're
figure it
passive
out?
aggressive. I'm passive aggressive. It doesn't work.
Well, whatever you need.
The
Whatever
only
you
disappointment
want,
would
it's
be is
fine.
I'm guessing there's no Doritos in there. Or I
Ooh,
don't
that
wanna
would be
eat them
great.
if they
Now,
were.
had you brought Doritos,
I can't
with
fucking
you-
win with you.
it would be better if the rest of the people could hear it if you talked into the mic.
Doesn't matter.
She's got a big mouth.
She's got attitude
They
tonight.
can hear me over here.
I can hear her in the soundproof booth.
Wow. We're gonna build a soundproof
I'm
booth.
gonna win this fucking pageant.
Yes, it is a lady
I know
chip.
all the questions.
I know all the questions.
Doritos is a lady chip.
No, remember they made
No.
lady ones.
And it's made like this.
It is. Oh, okay.
Right, no,
Go
but
ahead and eat your Doritos.
but don't you recall the
Going
story
down on a Dorito.
about women needed quieter snacks?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I remember.
All right, well-
I remember a lot of
She was
things.
dreaming about socks.
God damn it, I
and
guess so.
And then I have no idea. It's like asking me what someone's name is. It's not a good idea. Computers are people's first names.
I don't think it does in it unless the power goes out. I don't think so though.
No, cold should not affect download speeds. Heat actually is worse on it than anything else. But no, cold should not affect. What was it? No, I mean,
Oh, no, 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 yeah,
electronic.
no.
Jenny,
Two
throw
different
throw
things.
some hand signs.
She's
That's
being
right.
out gangster. Oh no.
I don't
No,
fucking
let's
know.
not. I can't.
If so, then I'm fucked up here in the middle of the tundra.
Oh,
yeah,
the show gets
terribly
whiter
sorry.
every week.
Oh, by the way, greetings, everybody. This is show 336. It's the 27th of February, 2018, where we are, or who knows when the fuck you're going to hear this. That chair that's empty right there will be filled just in a little while. Kat Carlson, she is at a Pride meeting. She's on the board, or I don't know what the fuck she's doing with it. Anyway, she's on the Pride meeting doing that tonight, so she's a little delayed in getting here. Our Pride is just about a month away, so they are in the final stages of making sure they got their shit together.
Well, good
They
luck.
will.
Good luck.
Captain Fernelli is with them.
Yes.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yes.
Okay.
The little Fernelli, he's
That's
with
fair.
them.
That's
Yes.
fair. The court case that Amina's talking about, that's pretty fantastic.
You have to decriminalize gay sex between males. That seems like a.
Well,
I guess we got to start somewhere.
well,
Well, that will continue to go on.
yeah,
so.
but I'm curious, and
What if it
Amina, I'm
looks
sure
like a male?
can explain this, but the reason I'm sure it would be men is, do they even consider women?
Right.
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure not.
I mean, that's fair.
Right? I mean, not to sound ignorant, but
Oh no,
I'm
I would
curious.
immediately assume. well, like you just said, do they even consider women?
Yeah.
I would just immediately assume, just like it does in this country, well, if it's good for men, we'll just let men do it. It doesn't make any difference. Fuck whatever women want to
Yeah,
do.
exactly. They want to fuck women.
Not a personal
No?
opinion of mine.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
just saying,
echoing what
maybe.
the sentiment is of a lot of people out there.
Absolutely. Me
A lot of
too.
countries, yeah, exactly.
Oh, and a lot of
Yeah.
valid point. A lot of countries.
Yep, we
Having
have
sex.
that.
Well,
in
as we go along in the show, I'd
sorry,
like to have
dear.
more updates from Meow Cal on how his updates are going, and to see if we can do anything. How, by the way, Meow, if you can, whatever product or item you're updating, how are you viewing, watching, or enjoying the show? Is what I was curious to know about, and interacting in the chat room.
Enjoying.
Because, well, or maybe you're not enjoying the
I
show.
don't think
I don't know.
Well, she'll tell you in a minute.
Don't know, but still, fuck you, Marnie
In a
Ryan.
passive aggressive way. Well, I've watched worse shows.
Oh, there are a lot.
Some.
Oh, by the way, if you're in Germany listening right now, which according to what I
Hi.
see, one person listening in Germany, and it appears that they might be in. Well, I can't tell the item that they're listening on. So it tells me that there are 2 smartphones. There's a home entertainment system and a desktop computer listening to us, but I can't tell
That's
which is
bizarre.
what. But anyway,
That
Germany.
is bizarre.
We know too much.
Germany, if you can, find the chat room if you can, and let us know where you are, how you found us.
Germany.
All that. What did I say?
They're in Germany.
Who is?
I understand that, but I'm thinking they're probably like on an Air Force base,
Just giving you shit.
maybe at
I'm a little punchy.
Heil Starbucks, whatever it is. I don't know where the fuck they are.
Heil
I just was
Starbucks.
curious. My
Hi
heavens.
guys. I'm just giving you shit. I'm sorry.
You are. Well, you are a little punchy.
Bucky.
What is
I
that?
don't know.
Bucky.
A little Bucky.
What is that?
I don't know. Punchy and Bucky just kind of throwing gang signs, according to Jay.
I feel like is there Dayquil involved in this? What?
No.
What-
I want a drug test. I'm just
You
throwing
do
it out
seem
there.
like you seem like maybe you just crossed the threshold of I wasn't feeling as good and now I feel fucking awesome, and here you are. Like
I don't
what?
know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I need your caffeine supplier because mine is not getting
Did you
it done
get
this
a
week.
little like this
Oh.
afternoon? I just was assuming.
Afternoon
Delight. The kids still call it that.
Perhaps. No. No,
Meow
that
Cow-
wasn't it.
Okay, well, hang on. Meow Cow says this was on my work computer or my laptop, but I have another desktop, which is a Win 7 that's doing the hard work. All right, update everything you've got. I don't understand that, sir. Update everything you've got.
Oh
All
well,
your-
but work stuff, work computers and stuff are always different. Like
Yep.
we're so many updates behind at work because they have to pass every fucking. Well,
Well-
we had a security breach already,
Right,
and it's
right.
devastating. Like you
Right.
gotta,
well, I don't know if maybe you meant like a
you
work.
can't be early adopters in the
Right.
job that I do to
Right.
find out that
Or mine.
everybody's got a backdoor in.
Yep.
Wow, that was almost hot coffee through my nose. Sorry about that. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd.
funny.
Well, Martin, you are a little
Yeah.
bucky, a little punchy. You're feeling good. Things
Feeling
are great.
good.
What's going on with you? What have you been doing?
I have been perhaps similar to Al was last week with the Olympics. Just Olympics, Olympics,
Oh.
Olympics,
Okay.
Olympics.
It's over you now, you know.
I know.
Okay.
Thanks.
I remember how I was
No,
scoffed
I'm
at for
very
saying it was over
sad.
2 weeks. Remember the looks of disdain I
Hey,
got?
really
by
didn't
the
pay
way,
attention.
not for me. Go back and fucking watch this shit. Because
deleted
I'm
all of it.
totally on board with the Olympics.
Oh, totally.
Always.
Now, are you
totes on board.
on delayed viewing, or have you like not
Yeah.
got? Okay, so how many days behind
Well,
are you?
No. I'm all caught up with, but
Oh.
as far as many of the events, I had to watch them not live, like I was watching them much later, except for one, which is my obsession.
Oh,
Okay, you're gonna tell us later.
Okay,
or
yeah,
whatever.
Nah, that doesn't matter. But I have just been Olympics, and then we went to see someone delightful on Saturday. We saw Megan Hilty and
Oh.
J'approve. Rutinsky.
Rutinsky or something fucking funny as hell.
Yes.
I kind of
He's a
just
charmer.
he is hysterical. And Christmas, I mean, that one is, he's like every holiday, so gay. I mean,
Oh my.
out there, and it was fantastic.
Radetzky.
Radetzky.
A treat and a half.
Oh, it really, and it was just wonderful. And Megan Hilty is just a delight. I mean, she was as sweet, and her stories were very funny. Many things I did not know about her, so it was really kind of cool. But yeah, other than that, just a very very good week.
I saw him with Vanessa Williams in P-Town at the town hall or whatever they call it, like a really small little
venue.
I'm sure where they used to try witches, but it had like the upper balcony wrap around, and then just seats on the lower level, and it was just a charming, intimate sex.
Yeah, they went from the
session,
piano to like two
interview.
chairs.
So this is something that he's touring and doing. Where was it at?
It was at Scottsdale Center for the Arts.
Oh, good, because it needs an intimate venue to do it like that. You're not playing for the rafters,
Right.
Just piano
and
accompaniment.
her voice, I didn't know that she had been started out as an opera singer.
Oh, I didn't realize that either.
And it was
No.
very funny because she went to, like I said, he was just fucking funny. And I want him to be sitting right there and just go toe to toe with you, because I could make that happen. And that would be fantastic.
Let's get him. I am a huge fan. Huge
I'm just
fan.
not kidding, because his reaction to half the shit she said, I was like, did he go Al beforehand? I mean, it was fantastic. But she went to opera camp when she was 12.
Opera
And
camp.
he was like, really just did not let that go, and thought that was fantastic. How many 12-year-olds are choosing that? But it just a really great venue. He's going to be at Scottsdale Center for the Arts with Vanessa Williams on Wednesday, I guess.
Oh, how fun!
So yeah.
Yeah, and she said they had done a show in like Connecticut or somewhere, and they were like, it was a reserved audience. And then when she was, with a bunch of gay guys at P-Town in Bear Week, she told some
Camped it
dirty fucking stories.
Oh.
I love
She's
it.
like, not gonna get away with this one on the whole tour.
Right. Yeah,
It's not going to play in Sun City. Huh?
Well, and some of the people, that's an interesting. It was an interesting thing to watch, because you could tell that some people had just bought the tickets, right? And I don't mean the tickets for that event. I mean for the season.
Right.
Oh,
And that this was just a date on their calendar.
Another
to-
brick in
to
the
go.
wall.
Right. And I really wanted to punch all them in the throat.
Well, you see that. You used to see them a lot, and you still see them
Subtle.
because it still goes on. Casino concerts where people just got it as part of like Big Winners, Diamond Club, that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
there's whenever you see a show at a casino, the performer can't do much because they have to stay in just what they know, and they do truncated shows. They don't do a lot of talking in between,
Right.
because the audience is there because they're part of they just got the seats.
Got it.
right.
So there's a big problem with casino shows that work like that.
That's a good. I've noticed that now that you say that.
Yeah,
Because there
yeah.
are a few of them we've seen that are just very bam, 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 and done.
Yeah, in and out, because there's the fans that are traveling to the casinos because they know there's probably a hotel attached, and then there's the people that are just there because, well, this is what's playing tonight, or I ate 7 times the buffet today. They gave me a free
Right.
ticket, so
Can we
It's
get you to
very
go
strange.
sit down somewhere else?
yeah. But
You
so
get that booth.
You've been here 4 hours. You go home.
you go home now,
You go to
or you go see a concert. Yeah.
You go to concert now.
So few Asian listeners.
Well, anymore.
Can't think why. But Seth Rudetsky has a fantastic YouTube channel, and if you ever want to just go down a rabbit hole
Okay.
with a super nerd about musicals,
And
singing,
he admits that, and he just loves it.
it's delightful. He does
Yeah.
a whole thing about the singing style of At the Ballet for a chorus line. I mean, he
Okay.
goes note for note for 6 solid minutes, telling you about like what you're getting out of it, and then he's obsessed with Dear Evan Hansen.
I can
So
believe that.
he
He didn't
takes,
talk about that, but I can believe it.
Oh my gosh, what happened to you?
Oh my god, I can't think of what the first word of the song is, but it's like, I've learned to slam on the brake. Anyways,
Oh, right.
waving through a window. I'm
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
is he doing through the window?
I was like, what the hell
is it
happening
jumping
right
through a
now?
window, looking
Right.
through a window? I'm like, what the fuck? I can't
Yeah.
remember what the word was. So he's obsessed with waving through a window,
Okay.
and he just breaks it down as to like the genius of the songwriting and the singing and like the choices that
Sure.
they're making, and the not when people are not cheating notes. He
Okay.
does a little bit of bashing people that cheat notes, but
Sure.
he's a big fan of people that actually sing the notes and why they're doing it right and what's so impressive about the
Right.
range. So you can really go down a rabbit hole with him on a
Well,
rainy
and
day.
he definitely knows his shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and his command of the language is fascinating. Like, I could have truly sat there and listened to him
Yeah,
for a
he's-
very long time.
and I
So
have-
I can see going down that rabbit hole. Because
Oh, and he
really
is
was
currently
something.
the host of Seth's Big Fat Broadway and Seth Speaks on Sirius XM satellite radio on Broadway. He's just a delight. He's a very funny guy.
he when I saw the picture, because Aaron's mom, she's like, that's my boyfriend. She is in love with Seth. And after it was done, I'm like, oh my God, this Mo. And then I couldn't even believe it, because I was like, what the hell, just seeing a picture of him.
Mm-hmm.
He reminds me of Neil Giuliano. Yes?
Neil.
Tempe.
Former Mayor of
yeah.
Tempe.
Yeah. He looks like him. Like, there were pictures. All of a sudden, I saw him. I'm like,
Yeah. He does.
similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Similar. And so I have that in my head, and I'm like, I know. And so it was just then seeing him. I looked over, because I think that Aaron's dad is one of the best men to ever walk the face of this earth. And I looked at Sue, and I said, you've got pretty good taste in men.
Yeah.
These two, I'm gonna go with that.
Gonna
'Cause
give
he
you that
really,
one.
I'm gonna give you that one,
Yeah.
because he really was something. And just again, his command of the language and music, and
Yeah.
he really did. He didn't, no pun intended, miss a beat with
Yeah.
getting responses.
And it made for we didn't know what to expect from it. When they said the two of them were playing in P-Town, we had no idea what we were going to see. Sure. And we were like, are they really going to bring in like a whole band? Is she going to play with like a small combo? Like, how is this going to work?
And it was just him
and
and
then,
the piano,
we
right?
find out we're at a witch trial hall, and you're like, what the fuck? So all I did this week was work, Olympics, try to watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, work, and then finish up the Olympics. And then I'm hoping to piggyback off what you were obsessed with from the Olympics and take that, and then I can tell you about my other obsession, which is spiraling out of control currently.
Oh my!
But it was I made it through February. What day is it? It's the 27th.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, you got another day to go.
Oh, work-wise, I'm off till March 2nd or 1st or something. But
good.
this February work schedule is fucking in the rear view mirror.
Okay.
Like that was just
good.
A fucking beast.
Yeah.
So I slept most of yesterday. I have to say it took me like 8 hours to get through the closing ceremony of the Olympics, because I could not stay awake to save my life.
Oh, it didn't take us that long at all, because I went like this. Fast forward. I couldn't listen to that fucking. I can't. And I'm not talking about language.
Now
I'm
less
talking about
Asians are listening.
music. No, the music. The
Ding dong,
music.
ding
just-
dong, ding, ding,
it,
ding
the,
dong.
it was too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe we should learn the name for that instrument.
Zitar.
Whatever it is.
I
It
don't know,
fucking I'm not this is nothing with language. I'm not trying to be an asshole.
I know.
It was
Yeah.
that sound, and I was like, and then they had a little Asian boy band on there. I'm like, really? So then I had too much fun with that. So we won't go into that, or we'll lose the
K-pop.
fun that
Did we learn nothing from Johnny and Tara?
Yeah, I know. Oh my God.
And Terry.
Damn it. That's one thing that I have. Oh shit, I gotta find that. I laughed and just kept rewinding and pressing play about that Johnny Ware.
With the more you know thing in his hair. He seriously had the PSA thing as a hairpiece.
Okay.
He
It
was something.
was
I'm sending it to you, Clinton. I have it right
hysterical.
here. Oh.
Good.
Oh, so do I. My
Oh.
niece was sending it. She's like, I don't want to ruin Johnny for you if you're taping it. And I'm like, oh, you can ruin that,
can.
because it was on every TV at work.
God, was he funny.
And they were delightful. And they finally got Terry a little bit of rhinestone on his microphone.
Yeah.
He finally got just the tiniest bit of bedazzle, maybe a half an inch of bedazzled microphone.
Right? Oh, it's fantastic.
And I loved it when they were when it ended and they distinguished, or whatever the word is, they put out the fire. Extinguished the fire.
I'm airdropping
and
you.
so he's like, "Are you two crying?" And they're like, "Of course we are." Clayton,
That's funny.
Well, hang
I'm
on,
airdropping you.
She's well, you've airdropped a video.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'm not playing anything.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, that's just for me to enjoy?
Yeah. No,
Oh, 'cause
that's
I
all
was-
it is.
Okay, because I was gonna try to find the.
I'll
just
send you a picture.
Find me
Yeah.
a picture
No,
of
I
it
know.
so I
That's
can.
easy.
That
Because
was just I want him
after
to have
last
that.
week's, we got blocked worldwide by the IOC.
Why?
Oh, the International Olympic Committee, because
Yeah.
of the video that I played of Johnny, or not Johnny,
Oh,
of
Adam Rippon?
and Leslie and that
Uh-huh.
whole thing. Yeah, no, I have to edit that video to get it to air because they blocked it
God.
quickly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what Big Mo was watching us? How'd they know?
Oh no, it's a digital footprint. It's just like
Right.
no, their computers are scrubbing everything looking for shit. Oh yeah.
that
The
interesting?
second it posted, it was like bing bong.
Wow.
You got that.
No, that was the sound of the music in the closing ceremonies.
For Christ's sakes. What is that's like Bride of Frankenstein looking.
I know, but look
God.
at it. It's the star and the wavy lines from The More You Know.
Sorry, Annette.
And if you don't know, because the cauldron is
It
behind her,
was.
she looks like she's got a little party hat on. If you look in the picture,
Yeah.
hang on a minute. I got to figure out how to get this on.
Can anybody explain to Annette that it was a little Asian boy band? Like, in all sincerity.
Oh, it was. They're calling it K-pop. It was an Asian
K-pop.
boy band. That's
It was.
fair.
I mean, it was the
And
Backstreet Boys.
There was a lot of them, too.
There were a large number of them.
I felt like there was like 9 members of that band.
Correct.
But they could dance.
They could dance, absolutely.
They were lip syncing their asses up, but they really could dance.
And the music was good. I didn't mind the music.
Yeah.
For that. That came out wrong. Just stop it.
But the Beijing part made me cry. I can't. The whole postcards, the greetings for the new year, and the welcome to Beijing.
Oh,
I
there were
don't-
a number of things that were
the gym,
beautiful.
the figure skaters, the hockey
Uh-huh.
players, the skiers, the bobsled team. There was a current team, and I can't remember if it was speed skate. I can't remember what discipline it was, but they had the current team doing the welcome to Beijing in their, like, just before a medal ceremony. It was just lovely.
Yeah.
I found that.
I don't disagree. I thought that it was, and the what do you call the in memoriam
Yeah.
that they did.
Oh, they do that at the Olympics too?
It's the second year. I didn't realize that. I guess
didn't
I
really.
did not pay attention last year or 2 years ago. But that was when it was in Sochi, right?
No, I think they meant Brazil. Did they mean the last Winter Olympics they did it?
Winter Olympics, I believe.
Oh, yeah, and I don't think I made it to the
I
whole
don't
closing
either.
ceremony.
I don't think I made it through
Sochi.
all of the because it was basically like the Summer Olympics in Sochi.
Yeah.
Remember? It
Yeah, I
was
mean,
so
no,
horrible.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think I made it to the whole closing
Yeah.
ceremony.
Yeah, but they didn't in memoriam, and so then the this was just it was very impressive.
Yeah, and they were.
From start to finish.
And one of the things they
did
really
a
wanted to
great
do
job.
is they wanted to show off their technology. They were so a lot of the show was about their culture, and then a lot was about their contributions to technology or their advancement in technology. So that was really cool. Some of the stuff that they were doing with that
I
screen
agree. And the drones.
yeah, the drones. That all was so cool.
Forget it with the bear and the heart. And,
Yeah. That was really cool. And I did not understand what they were saying, again, because I was asleep the first 2 times I watched it. And when they said it was drone lights making up those shapes, I'm like, that's frightening and cool at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
Big Brother is watching us, but he's also entertaining us. So
Exactly.
thank you.
And maybe he's taking a peek over into North Korea to see
Right.
what's happening over there. With one eye. The teddy bear was like this.
Yeah, it's Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
What do you mean, 60 miles away?
Leslie Jones is up in that drone. God, she's
Nobody
funny.
told me it was 60 miles away. That
What
was
am I doing
hysterical.
here?
Yeah, what am I doing here?
Okay, it took me a second to get here, but this is the hair that you were talking about.
Oh, come on.
But see, on top of her head, the cauldron
Yeah, it does
looks
look like a
little-
candle.
little
She's
hat.
wearing
Yes.
it like she's the candelabra from Beauty and the Beast.
Right, Lumiere.
B-R.
And
yes.
what in the heck?
Yes.
That he's killing me. It's like they just let Liberace host everything.
Oh, I know. Thomas
for
Jefferson
real.
meets Liberace in the More You Know commercial.
Right. My God.
Oh, with a little bit of Bride of Frankenstein.
A little
the
Bride of
bride, yeah.
Frankenstein,
The
sure.
bride.
Yep,
Just a whisper. Oh.
that's fantastic. I love
Oh,
it.
my
I love
gosh.
it. I love it.
Well, this
Fine,
past
sir.
weekend on Friday, a group of us decided that we wanted to go to God's Waiting Room, so we went to Palm
To
Springs.
Denny's.
No,
No, Luby's. Luby's cafeteria is really God's waiting room.
different. Yeah, no, we went. Yeah, we went live on location to Palm Springs. Well, it was interesting because it's God's Waiting
Super
Room.
off season.
Yeah. Oh no, it's they're in season. That whole goddamn
Oh.
city's booked because of the
I forgot old people don't work.
Well, no, but and it's cool. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful weather there. So every hotel room in the whole city, because they had a car auction, they had a black. What is this month? Not Black Lives Matter month. It's a Black
Black
History Month. They had a Black History Month parade. They had so many things going on.
And I get in trouble with Asian boy bands.
Right. So we go to
Doesn't
just
make either one of you less guilty.
really just to watch different people drink and
Sure.
so it was interesting because it just people watching was very fun because it's like the pun says, when you go to a dance in Palm Springs to 70s and 80s music, you're dancing with 70 and 80-year-old people.
That really is
cracking.
That
up.
really is.
So
it's only funny because it's true.
So we got there Friday night. Well, Saturday morning we get up and we walk from the hotel down like one of the main streets down in downtown Palm Springs, and we assumed that there was some sort of a street fair going on. We didn't know anything about what the hell, but there were cars lined up and there were bands. Like you could see all this staging, and we're like, okay. So we didn't know what it was. So as we're walking through on the sidewalks alongside of it, I stopped and asked one of the kids who was in a full band uniform. Like he's ready to do whatever.
He's a major.
I don't know. I think he was a tuba player or anything, something. Anyway, so I asked him. I'm like, hey, we're tourists in town for the weekend and we don't really know. I said, what's going on? And he goes, I have no idea. And I said, you're dressed in a band uniform and you're going to do something. What are you here for? Oh, it's Black History Month parade. Oh. So we figured out that. So we were actually right at the start
Why
of
the costume, sir? Just a Thursday.
and it just matched 37 other people. Yeah. So we so that was interesting because we were right at the starting point of the parade where all of the bands converged and the marching, the dance groups, and all the stuff. So that was kind of fun just to be unexpectedly part of a parade that we didn't plan to be part of, or not part of, but around. It's just stunningly beautiful in Palm Springs to walk around. Just even in the downtown city, there's so many little shops and things to go through. We did spend a good amount of time in Stacy's Palm Springs bar.
Really?
Drank, yeah, really, yeah. Had several
Weird.
there.
What an unusual turn of events. Yeah.
But it was so funny. Some of the older characters are just hilariously funny.
Yeah.
On Saturday afternoon, after all the parade and everything, three of the five of us were sitting in Stacy's bar, and a group. You know how I always say no running.
Right.
We have a rule, no running. Well, a group of gentlemen got up to leave, and they were all like, "Bye, we'll see you all later." And I said, "Bye." And the one who was the last one in the group, he had a cane, and he was walking rather slow. And I said, and I'd had just enough Bloody Marys. I'm like, "Sir, remember, no running." And he's like, "Won't do it. I'm good." And he got 2 steps past me, and he goes, "Besides, I'm late for soccer practice." The timing was perfect. So funny that he was still just right on that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was interesting to see and watch.
Right after they get their Jello, they're just as sparkly.
Spry.
Yeah.
Spry as hell is what they are.
After that last serving of Jello.
And sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, overall, it was fun and funny. And then my friend Dan Gore, who owns the bar Oscars, that's in. Oh, you know, of course, you know Dan.
Yeah. So does
they had he does.
Oh yeah.
So he has this little thing, and there was a sign on the side that said breakfast $6.99 or whatever the hell it was. So we decided that we were going to go there on Sunday morning for breakfast. So I had messaged him, hey, 5 of us coming for breakfast, and he texted me back. He was like, "In the morning?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's when you have breakfast." And he's like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't know if that works." So he goes, "I don't know how your breakfast works," and he responds back, "I don't know how it works either because this is our first day." And I'm like, "Okay," I was all confused. Well, we get there and find out they do breakfast all the time, but it was the first day of them doing a breakfast drag show in the courtyard, which if I would have realized, I'd avoided and gone to IHOP.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you got eggs and bacon and toast, and then 5. And day drag is not pretty.
No.
It's not friendly. So we had that.
They're not friendly. You're not friendly.
They call it the bitchy brunch. Now the funny thing about the bitchy brunch, and I should have pulled up, and maybe I still can between now and when the show goes on, the menu.
Wait, are we on now?
Yeah, we're on now. No. Well, maybe I can pull it up a little bit later.
No.
The menu.
This production meeting is really long.
The menu is very funny. It's called the bitchy brunch. One of the items is the south of the border omelet, wall not included.
Nice.
That's
good.
There were some of the little comments that are on the menu were just so funny that I had to read the whole thing. Whoever wrote it was really comical, and I'm not sure if it was my friend Dan or somebody else, but it was a very funny menu, similar to
Guy Fieri's.
The Guy Fieri's thing. So did that, and then on the way back home, once we finished and cleared all that up, driving out of Palm Springs, and we're about ready to make the ascension into the mountains to go over to all that. Well, down the road, like, maybe a good, maybe a mile, maybe half mile, you see there's a whirlwind going. And in the whirlwind are big fucking tumbleweeds that, blow over the freeway and all that other stuff because you're in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
So
Coachella Valley, for those listening.
Yes.
If you've ever heard of the Coachella Music Festival, that's the valley he was in.
Jenny, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't even know. Did I say something? I don't know.
Oh, I think
Your hat.
You're
Oh, it's on backwards because the bill will make my face really dark. What do you want from me? Jesus Christ. So,
been a long production meeting.
So, yeah, it is. So, anywho, Ricardo's in front of me in his vehicle, and he sees the tumbleweeds going in and out of traffic, and he's like, oh, God. So he misses it. Well, I got it, and I took the full brunt of that fucking tumbleweed, and it was the entire width of the front of the Explorer, and it just went right into the radiator and the grill. The whole, oh my God!
It's very exciting though the way they break apart like they're made out of glass. Like
it was everywhere. It was everywhere. So he said that it was really funny to look at all the birds' nests in the front of the vehicle because he's in front. But everything was fine. So we drove on, and the next stop we did, I had to pick out as many pieces as I could. And then today I finished up. Took about a little over an hour to finish taking it apart and putting the little pieces of the grill that had popped out back in place. It was those. They don't screw around those fucking things. It was boom.
I've only ever had them hit the windshield, not the whatever that front part is called.
Grill.
The grill.
Yeah, but the windshield is always fun because they break. It looks like it's gonna be really scary, and then it just disintegrates into dust, and it's like having a superpower almost.
I don't think that's what happened here.
It is not what happened here. But Ricardo said it was. Ricardo said in the rearview mirror it was awesome because it just hit and exploded and went everywhere. And I'm like, why the hell didn't you?
I'm just glad nothing happened.
His friend, Alberto, his friend that was riding with him, somebody should have recorded this.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna suffer through it, for God's sakes, give me something.
Sure.
But
Work with me, people.
Yeah, or I should have had one of those little cameras on the rearview mirror that records everything.
A GoPro.
A GoPro. Yeah, one of those things. Whatever the hell it's called.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Always hit tumbleweeds at full speed. Agreed.
I guess, because they went. It was brutal.
And on that drive back from Colorado after the accidente, and we went through like
Happy Jenny?
Yeah, we came down the hill. You get into Flagstaff, we get into shitty weather again, and then you come down the hill into Phoenix. And it was still snowing. It was still a winter storm, and the guy that was kind enough to fly up there, drive the truck back that I rented. He as we were driving in the middle of the night through Flag, swerved on the road to miss a tumbleweed. And the girl with the broken pelvis sitting in the front seat with him just punched him as hard as she could. She goes, "You hit the next motherfucker that gets in front of this car."
That had to
Take it out.
Also, just scary.
Yeah, just scary because we knew that the roads were slippery. It was still kind of bad weather, and we all did this whole lurch with the swerving to avoid that. And we're like, it's a goddamn tumbleweed. It will do nothing to your car.
Yeah, but I've done that with bags that are in the road. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Some things you don't know what's in them.
Right, exactly. Yes. I agree.
There was a pink balloon bouncing down the road, kind of out of it, on 15th Avenue the other day. And I was a little nervous to go over it with my car. I'm like, what the fuck is in that? Why is there a pink balloon bouncing?
And why is it lasting?
And completely on its own, yeah. There was nothing going on in the park.
There's no reason for it to be there.
There was no pink balloon festival in the park.
Well, and it's not,
there were no houses on the right
here,
that had
not
pink
up there.
balloon.
What's
Yeah,
happening?
it's all
terrible.
bullshit.
I'm just going to read just for the hell of it. Chef Arturo stuffed French toast, seriously good, it says. Our famous stuffed French toast served with ham, eggs over medium, sausage, bacon, cheddar cheese, spinach, and tomato. If you think we're going to have this deliciousness all morning, you're crazy. Sold until it sells out. So that means you still got a fighting chance.
There you go. I like when they put that on menus, that limited supplies. Tell us. Don't get us all excited and be like, we've 86 the bagels, the eggs, the bacon. You're just here for that cushion.
Yeah. A little something.
I like it.
They call the bagel with cream cheese something for simple-minded folk.
Oh.
There was a
and my cousin, and my cousin Mike from Missouri happened Friday or Thursday, standing here at the house. I get a text from him. Hey, I'm flying over. Just want you to know because I'm going to Palm Springs. And I text him back, well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh, how fun.
So I linked up with him on Saturday. He drove over to where we were and had coffee, and he was there for, obviously for work. and then he flew out on Sunday morning. So so oddly, in Palm Springs, I get to see my cousin from Missouri, hang out for a few minutes and have coffee. It was kind of fun to.
Oh, that's fun.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's
Continue
great.
on with whatever story you were going to tell.
Oh, nothing. I don't remember.
Okay.
Whatever's next.
No.
Hit it.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You got nothing else?
I don't think so. I mean,
Well, I don't really have a lot of anything else either. I was just going to do. You want to do the obsession stuff? Is that we're going to do that now?
Sure.
Okay. Well, how come this isn't sorted right? That's weird. Okay, we'll do this.
Obsession. Are you obsessed? Is it keeping you up at night? Do you find yourself constantly making references only to be met with blank stares? Obsession. This segment is for you. Obsession. Whether it's musicals, mowers, Motown, Subarus, or Sondheim, it's time to share your obsession with the show with Clayton McKee.
Well, in light of Kat Carlson being out of studio at this point, we will. I'll start this and deflect to Marnie.
That's cute.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I like that.
No one else to do about
Very
it.
nice. Very nice. So my obsession, women. Well, that would be obvious, but
Could you narrow that down a little, please?
I think I will. I think I will. Women in the Olympics, just fucking awe-inspiring. I was taken. I was smitten. I was Twitter-pated. I was all the feels.
All the feels.
All the feels.
And they really saved a lot of good stuff for last.
They really did.
They really did.
First of all, who in God's name ever thought that cross-country skiing could be fun in any amount of time to watch? Watching paint dry, I consider that more fun than cross-country skiing.
Okay.
To watch it or to even attempt, I would never.
They've
attempt
made
it.
everything at this Olympics life or death. Like,
They-
the courses are insane. No one
It
should
was
live through
true.
half the shit they built.
I agree.
It's just-
and because all of it was great.
Yeah.
And I think compared to 2 years ago, you sit there and you're like, this is Winter Olympics. Like, it felt like one of the first times recently.
Oh, it felt like the first time in a long, long time
Bridget.
that it was actually Olympic camel toe everywhere.
On the men too.
Yeah, some of them.
Some of them.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, it really felt like Winter Olympics.
Yes,
like I
yes, it
said.
was the coldest Olympics, and I can't remember how many years they
For real.
said.
Yeah.
But
They
I
had
think-
to stop how many
ski
of the
events,
Yeah.
because they were on top of mountains with like terrible weather conditions and it wasn't safe. And then they would show them, and I'm like, why this hasn't been like this kind of weather has not been in the Olympics in years. And
Yeah.
then finally they admitted it was the coldest and the most wintry. I know I
Yeah.
can't remember what year they said. I feel like they said Yugoslavia, but I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
If
I
I
just
can't
know
remember if
that
they
it-
said Sarajevo, if it was that long, or if maybe
was-
Calgary was the last one. It was a long time ago. The one that they
That
mentioned,
long
but now
ago,
that I
wow.
can't remember.
Okay, because it just looked awful. Just looked
And
awful.
then they made the courses. So the one day, have we talked about men's snowboard cross? Doesn't roll off the tongue yet. My new favorite sport of this year.
the skiing with the
Snowboarding, where they
kinda
go
like-
6 at a time.
Sure. Oh, yeah,
Down
yeah.
the most treacherous
Uh-huh.
course ever made,
Yep.
and it was frozen. The course was rock hard frozen and super slippery. And they were like, top 3 finishers advance. 3 people didn't finish the race. They're in
Right,
body
right,
bags in the
right.
back. People would not finish the race. Did we not talk about this last week? It was hysterical.
I think that happened. I feel like that happened after.
I
Wait,
can't
now are
remember.
these 6 people on individual snowboards
No.
or one
Yeah,
big
no,
board?
no.
They're on 6
individual.
boards all next to each other in a really narrow lane, but they're taking on turns, and then they jump.
Oh.
Like, they jump over 2 hills at the same time, and they all have to land, but not hit each other.
Right. It was like picture
Death
the
Race
Summer
2000.
Olympics.
Yeah.
Picture the Summer Olympics with swimming. Right. They're all in their own lane.
But this time the
But-
lane's frozen. They're on boards, and they got to
And
jump
they're-
over things like dolphins.
Yeah.
They're doing like a dolphin
Yeah.
show. It
Wow.
was insane. And the one skier, the snowboarder that fell, and then he got up, because then it would be whoever can limp to the finish line gets to advance to the next round. He had a broken neck. Like, that's how bad
What?
these injuries were. Yes, I think he was
don't
Italian.
remember
Did he medal?
that.
No, because because they had to take him off, but he did
You know how
advance
Italians are.
because he was alive. He advanced to the next round. but then was disqualified due to his broken
Due to
neck.
broken neck.
They put him on a toboggan.
Oh my God! And
And-
they had to take him out. They had to take the guy out
No,
from
I meant
the.
for him to go ahead on the next race.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just we're just
Just
so-
don't write this down.
We're gonna tell
might-
you.
might
There was
get-
the guy
We're
in the
gonna
half pipe.
tell
The guy in the half pipe that got so hurt that came down because it's a 30-foot wall.
Oh.
What is it? A 20-foot wall with 22-foot wall, and then they were making
I don't remember
17-foot
that, but I'm
jumps and
thinking
stuff
of
like
the
that.
guy. Yeah.
So these people were falling 4 stories into frozen ice. Like, I'm like, nah, settle the fuck down. But that was terrific. So don't try to play it now or don't watch it. We're not going to watch it because
No.
we don't want to get booted off for
Right.
breaking the IOC's
Right.
Yeah.
rules. But find snowboard cross men's. The women was good, but they said that it had warmed up some, so that the snow had melted a little bit. And
Slowed him down just a
yeah,
little.
so many more women survived than the men did.
Oh. right,
Many-
right,
and it's
right.
good.
more.
And so I have the
Yeah.
NBC app, and I have watched that thing
I do too.
so many
I've had
fucking
the Olympics
times.
on here. Well, and the
And so tell us who you were obsessed with.
okay. So when we talk about the women in the Olympics, because the men seem to not be as impressive.
Yeah, the women were on their
Okay.
game. Yeah.
They really were. And the two biggest. Well, Chloe Kim was awesome, but we talked about her last week, and she was a
Totes adorable.
snowboard. But seriously,
Yeah.
real adorable. But the women's hockey, I cannot. I
They were.
cannot
It was
tell you.
amazing.
So back in the day, I don't remember if I had said anything about this last week, but back in the day, my dad worked nights, and when my parents were still married, my dad worked nights, and mom would watch hockey. And for those that have never watched a sporting event with my mom, all of you, she is a little bit like me, where it'll be like, "Come on, what is wrong with you?" Like we think we have the bat phone. To
I think my mom
coach.
used to yell at football all the time.
Absolutely.
As
And
God intended.
we feel like we have the bat phone, and they're gonna pick it up
I
and
yell
be
at the
like,
Oscars.
"What? Go ahead, Coach Ryer. What's happening?" You know, like, and I'd be like, "Don't you see that defense?" So anyway, my dad used to yell at my mom and be like, "Diane, go to the basement. Take that TV and go to the basement," because she'd be screaming at
While he was trying to sleep.
While he was trying to sleep. And mom would just be like, "Well, fine," you know, and she blushing a little bit then. And so she, well, you know, a
Seems
few
legit.
scotches in, and she's like, you know, she's on the ice. And
Literally.
literally. She's on the sauce. But anyway.
Sorry, Di.
So, well, she knows. So anyway,
Does she?
I'm.
Does she
Oh
remember?
no, she really.
I'm
does.
just kidding.
Oh no, she's good. She's there. So I'm at Fry's Wednesday night. Flash forward about 48 years, and I'm at Fry's, and I have the Olympics app on my phone, and all of a sudden it dawns on me I did not record
Oh, the
the
women's hockey.
women's hockey, the gold medal match between the U.S. and Canada, which is huge.
Yeah.
So, and backpedal a little bit, you have to keep in mind that in '88, when I graduated, that was just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Right? They used to have this asinine girly sport, I say with love, called ringette.
Oh Jesus, I never heard of that.
It was, so they had broom ball that anyone could play, men or women, which was dumb as shit.
Okay.
And then they had ringette for the girls, and it was kind of to,
She's a
you know,
major.
it was kind of like, oh, let's appease the girls. Fine, you can go on the ice, girls. You know, here you go. Here's a broom. Learn to clean, and
It's called curling.
whatever. And so then they would have this ringette, and literally it was a ring and a stick, and that was how they played hockey. And basically they had a fuck you moment and said, no, we're going to play hockey. And they went out there, and probably by 89, it had become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And early 90s is when they started in high school having a girls team, et cetera, rather, in in school.
Did
rather than
they coincidentally also get a dental plan? Because I
Maybe.
know how hockey works.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because the girls,
A
they
lot
don't,
less teeth in that sport.
they don't fuck around. They just do not fuck around. They really play hard. And so watching that, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm not. So I start and I'm in aisle 12 and I'm watching the game and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, come on. And they're in overtime. There's 4 minutes left, something like this. And I'm screaming and I go to the basement, Marnie. And and I just
You're disturbing the other. I can just see you in aisle 12.
I was. And I'm like, oh my God, go to the
Sitting
basement.
down next to the popcorn.
But you know the best part about that
I'll
is
pay for it when I'm done.
I know.
the best part about that is
Go get a beer.
Had there been a camera on you, that would have been one of the great, like a promo commercial that NBC or whoever would use as, everybody's into the Olympics.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, God. Well, yeah, but they probably would have gotten me in trouble for going and getting the beer and opening the popcorn and,
Well,
doing
that's
all
just
that.
good planning.
I'm just saying.
When in Rome.
I
It's
can't
called
run
a
out.
convenience store.
It is. I can't run out. But it really was fantastic. So by the time I really did, I checked out like very quickly and thought I have to go home because then it went into a shootout. Because once overtime runs out, then they go into
A shootout.
Okay.
And you have 6 people on either side that get to 5.
Several.
Yeah, something like that. That get to take a shot on goal. And it should have been the Minnesota Olympics as far as Meow Cal, you're not wrong. I actually could have seen me starting to throw things. But this 20-year-old from, I believe, Andover, Minnesota is in goal, 20 years old. Like this on this stage, it was just crazy. And it came down to it, and we had 3, and I think they had 2, and she was able to stop the last
puck
one, and you just with the gloves going up, and I'm crying, and I've
yeah.
got the chills, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That was I watched
wonderful.
that one. I watched that one at work.
Yeah.
And, it was
all the
stirring.
feels, all
It
the
really.
I love that. Yes. It
And
was.
then I went home and watched it
Yeah.
on the TV just to see if it was that good.
I just kept replaying it, and then
And luckily, so did NBC.
so did they. Yes, I was very thrilled with that. But I was also so fucking taken with the gal from Afton, Minnesota. Do we see a trend that lots of Minnesotans? Well, what the fuck else are they going to
Yeah,
do?
exactly.
Right, Meow Cal?
If they can't get the
I mean-
Winter Olympics right, then who's gonna?
Come on. And so, again, who thought that cross country skiing could be in any way
So
enjoyable?
this one's my obsession.
Yes.
This cross country team sport or I don't know.
Apparently.
I never even know what the fuck it was.
Also,
I guess
my
it's,
muscles are sore
oh my god.
from helping her.
And now, unfortunately, if you watched it on the app, if you have the NBC Olympics app, they had a different color commentator because the color commentator for figure skating is this British lady who's very dry but very knowledgeable, and then someone from NBC International who's just duller than a box of rocks. Well, the color commentators for this team women's team cross country, it was some I don't know. It was like third best tree from the left. It was like, to me, it seemed like a really watered down sport, but I happened to
Totally.
have it saved. And
Okay.
somebody was like, have you seen it? And I'm like, no, they're like, I won't spoil it. Like, just go home and watch it. So at first I tried to watch it at work, and I got the boring color commentators. I'm like, oh, no, I'm going to
Save
I'm gonna go
this.
home and save this and see what they did. And you have to watch it from an NBC, from the actual NBC booth.
Broadcast.
I agree.
Yeah, not the
completely.
networks of Universal,
Yeah.
but the actual NBC. As the guy who is normally used to calling it like
Aaron.
golf
Uh-huh.
has just lost his fucking mind as he realizes that they have a chance not just to medal but to go for gold. And then it was the
Which they have
tightest,
never gotten. Male or female. I
male or
believe.
female. They were the first
Yeah.
first U.S. people to ever win a cross country event at the Winter Olympics in the 7 million years they've been
Which
doing
is an
this.
exciting thing, I guess. I didn't know that until that day.
Oh, I mean, he was hoarse. He
you're
had no.
right.
By the time the poor lady won, he had nothing. He was like screaming her on, like can you go to the basement? Like the guy in the booth with him had to have been going deaf from it.
And he kept trying to talk over him to do the.
Yeah, but he couldn't.
like,
Go!
You got to go! Oh my God! He was insane.
His head came unhinged. I'm
It did.
convinced of it.
And because of him, I was so much more
my
excited.
heart. Yeah, it was. He really made it. And then when I watched it on the when I watched it on the app again, I was trying to show somebody. I'm like,
You're right,
well, this is
Mel.
nothing without the.
You don't
without the-
understand.
Yeah, it's nothing without the color commentary.
Yeah.
Like you really need
If you
everyone
watch
to
it
be
without
invested.
her,
Yeah,
you're like this.
it'd be like watching, the Miracle on Ice without
Right.
Al Michaels. Yeah,
Totally. That's
then
what
it's
he
just a
reminded
hockey
me
game.
of.
Yeah, that's.
Then it is just a hockey.
But because they hire one person who does
excited.
broadcasting and then
Yeah.
people that know the sport, and
Right.
biased, of course, because it's it's a U.S.
Sure.
That guy was. So I don't know who I was more obsessed with: them for winning,
Yeah.
the fact that their legs must have been on fire
can't
because it really
even
did come
imagine.
down to 3 of them just racing for their lives,
And
you,
their arms and
oh
like
my
the
God,
pushing-
they're just
I
going,
can't.
going, going, going. And it was like the last 2 minutes was all you needed to see of the whole race because I don't know what the fuck happened before then.
Yeah.
Because I fast forwarded because I'm like, well, we're just skiing.
I'm
like, what's
not
going on?
to watch that whole thing.
No, and that's why. But because I was like, everyone said it was so exciting, and I'm like fast forwarding, like, huh? And
Right.
then I turned it on. I'm like, oh god damn.
Yeah, and again, last 10, 15 seconds
Yeah.
is really all you need because it's kind of like that other thing, right? Cross country and archery. What the fuck?
Biathlon. That's like the
Biathlon.
original winter sport. Like one
Right,
of the
but
original winter
I
sports.
still don't understand.
Because you might need to ski over to your neighbor's
And
house
get
and
a
shoot
deer.
them. Yeah.
Wow.
And we have the Olympic event to make it better.
I caught a deer. Yeah. Be
yeah,
a deer.
just
Go
fun.
Get a deer.
Well, I'm saddened to report that my a place that I had debated about going to visit for one specific reason, Tonga didn't medal in anything.
Oh, yes.
Oh, they only had one athlete. Oh, did you miss his beautiful moment?
I missed all of it.
Oh.
I'll have to Google it and find
Okay.
it. But no, I just was checking that Tonga has they got nothing.
Well, he was their only athlete. This is the second year in a row that he was their only athlete, second Olympics. Mm-hmm. Hadn't seen snow till like last Tuesday.
Right, like literally weeks ahead. I heard an interview.
Trained on wheels, like many of them do train on. So, but you have to watch him. He had the finest Olympic moment of the whole Olympics, I thought.
Really?
Okay, yeah, again, cross country skiing. But it was the long one, the one that's almost like a. I feel like that's it. Somebody tell me what his event was.
I think cross country skiing or something like that, because that's what when they interviewed him, they're like, "Why did you choose this? You're from a place that has no snow." And he goes, "We just thought that was the best chance we had."
No, and it was the Olympics, and he knew he wasn't going to win, but he did not finish last, as many had predicted.
Okay.
Oh my God, I can't believe you didn't watch his great moment.
I didn't.
But it was
know.
it was one of those things that made it bigger than everything else. It was like the hashtag
I
of
have
the
to
day.
tell you, and I didn't see any
So,
of that watching all of it.
He finished the race, and I think he was third from last or fourth from last. Made it over the finish line, very proud, but then turned around to become the greeter for the people that were finishing after
love it.
him, hugged the next guy in line, and then the guy that actually won the race that had already done interviews because they were so far behind skied up, and then he and the guy from Tonga, like, greeted the people that left, and then they had a big cheering section for the guy that came in last
love
to
it.
let him know that everyone was still there paying attention to the race even
I
though it was
love
over.
it.
And he was like the entire spirit of the Olympics. Oh, I
That's
can't believe you missed it. It was one of the best stories.
I did. I missed
And he was
that.
just adorable on the ice hugging everybody. He was so charming. And I thought, how great. And then he was cute. They only showed him briefly in the closing ceremony. They didn't make a big deal about it.
Okay.
But he carried the flag, and he's the only athlete. But he did his little dance for the camera real quick, and they just said Tonga. Like, they didn't zoom in on him because everybody walked in so quickly for the closing ceremony.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was really cute that he was there, and he had that great minute. It was in all the highlights for the, as they were just making you cry, that moment with all of
Yes.
them hugging at the finish line was like on all the highlight reels for the
There were
17 days.
And yeah, I don't know how I missed that, but I did.
Oh, it was lovely.
There were 9 on here, and there were a couple of these that I did miss, but it really was about the women. It was just insane.
Oh my God, and Vaughn.
Lindsey Vaughn.
Lindsey Vaughn's interview about retiring and spreading her grandfather's ashes down the mountain while she skied because he was in the Korean War.
Yep.
Oh, that's a cool story.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
If you had a dry eye through that fucking story, you are made of stone. And
You are. I mean, you and I cry at damn near anything, but
that was too
for
much.
real, you
That
need
was
to
too
fucking
much.
well up.
Well,
at
I was
least.
able to find. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Hang on. I got this. So there's a picture of him celebrating something.
That's
whatever.
the opening ceremonies.
Oh, is that still opening ceremonies? And then apparently this is the first day he ever saw snow.
Oh,
He's so cute.
He is
is,
so cute. And then whatever the hell he's doing there, but I'm not mad at whatever.
Selling
just
it.
a selfie.
Yeah. Right. But that, I mean, how do you, oh my God, that's just adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lost 30 pounds to cross country ski. And I don't remember what his event. I don't remember. Oh no, he was some kind of a boxer, a fighter at the Summer Olympics.
Sure.
But he was eliminated like first. Like he didn't even make it to the second round. He's just there for the.
He's happy to
He's
be
like,
there.
No,
I'm
and that-
I'm
but-
gonna walk in.
But
with
almost
baby oil
everybody
on.
at the Olympics isn't going to medal.
Yeah.
Like almost everyone
Oh,
there
right.
is
True.
just there
Sure.
to be in the Olympics
Sure.
and participate in
In
sports.
that-
Well,
So-
in
and
in that
still
village.
better athletes than
right, then most of the world.
most of the world.
But when they
Oh,
do
yeah.
something like that and they show
Aaron,
that,
you are right.
yeah, when you
Yeah.
do that thing where you show the Olympic spirit and great sportsmanship,
Yep.
and seriously, that's another one. If you can make it dry-eyed through the announcer in the online boring humans and
Yep.
then the ones trying to sell it, when he turns around and waits for the next guy to finish,
Yeah.
like the announcers teared up. They were
Oh.
like, "What?
Wow.
Oh, that's nice." And then those
I
two
love
waited
it.
for the next one, and then those three waited for the next one, and then when the guy that won the race finds out in ski, I mean, it was just,
Sure.
and then they're like lifting the guy up that lost completely. I mean,
and
it
not
was,
be,
it was,
and
it
it's
was
not
so
condescending. It's
no,
not being,
not
it's
at all. It was
wonderful.
so
Yeah.
like you finished an
Yep.
Olympic race, like
Oh.
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
Well,
oh my god, I
and
was
all
so
of this,
moved.
I'm assuming all of this was in prime time.
I have no idea. I taped so much
'cause
shit. I don't know when
because
it
I
all
just deleted it yesterday.
Yeah.
I just deleted it all yesterday, but I'm sure it's still in the
Yeah.
queue of recently deleted. I might be able to salvage.
Yeah, and then like I said, that one had good color commentaries for both. Because I showed that to everybody that would
Yeah.
stand still long enough with me having a device. Like, you gotta watch this fucking shit.
Well, and
Oh, it was just so moving.
they had that we walked away with 9 gold, 8 silver, and 6 bronze. Norway, which please,
Come on.
hello.
Again,
you
if
don't,
you're not gonna be good at it, then who
Went
is?
to- right.
seriously, they have that Nagasu. Who had the Pooh Bears like thrown at
Oh,
him?
the
Whatever.
figure skater.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
History making triple axel. To Chloe Kim, who's the snowboarder we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Hangry, gold medal. She had not eaten. She got up late or something, and
Yeah, she was too nervous to eat, and she was hangry, and she
yes.
texted that while she was waiting for her next round.
Oh,
That she was tweeting the whole time she was competing.
Yep.
And I didn't notice till this one, and maybe it's happened before, and I'm just more aware of it, that they all like high five before the half pipes and all those skiing events. They high five their coaches, and then
Yep.
they turn on their whatever they're listening to, and they have headphones in, and they're doing it to music.
oh, I had
So
no
all
idea.
of a sudden they had a new appreciation.
didn't
They
think
Because
watched
Imagine.
each-
so now it's orchestrated. Like it's the whole thing is
Yeah.
a dance.
Yeah, they
if
have
you
it-
will.
they're-
oh, interesting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they're all got something. You can see them all play something
Sure.
and put on their music and get in there.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
they
I
all
thought
take
they
it off
just
to
did
listen for
that.
their name to be called.
Okay.
And then you do it. And then you saw somebody pull out the thing and hit play on whatever song they have.
I honestly
Prepared
I
to
saw
get in
things
their
ears,
headspace?
but I thought that was because of like the wind, the
they were
No, it turns
listening
out
to-
they
That's
look just like the
fantastic.
kids in the park. They're
Sure.
jamming out
The
to something.
Alanis Morissette.
But I wanted all of their
Kidding, totally.
playlists.
I want.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
you to
interesting to
know.
hear
Yeah,
what they're.
I want to know what their.
Oh, because
Playlists.
it would even be more better because that's good grammar.
Oh, yeah.
If you could figure out and time it so that you could hear what they're listening to as they're doing it. That would be if there was a separate audio channel,
Right.
that you could literally listen to what is in their
I
head.
wonder
That's
if
cool.
they would have playlists, like release their playlists.
Yeah.
At
You
all.
probably could.
Yeah.
I mean, if Apple was listening like they should be, that would be a
Absolutely.
great way to like make money. Like find
Oh.
out what is
I mean, they have those now.
the Shib Sibs. What are they listening to?
Right.
Oh, they were delightful.
Okay. Okay. Meow cow. You're ringing every bell.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that because I see I see a picture of that. I don't really care about anything else anymore because he's just wow.
Yeah, he's real cute.
If there are more things like that in Tonga, I am willing to go.
Time to go to Tonga.
It's a tiny, tiny little island.
Well, good. Then you'll run into him.
Wow, that's a fuck you. Did you hear that? That's passive aggressive right there.
No, it's just me.
Yeah.
Are you
yeah.
hungry?
No.
Are
no.
you angry?
Now, curling.
But don't you think
did anybody get into curling?
The janitor sports have begun. That was Leslie Jones' best line.
Well,
I
I learned something
The
about it
janitor
though.
sports have begun. But the men won the gold.
They did for the
And
first
again,
time.
the color commentator on that one was way too excited about curling. But then my friend of mine from high school that now lives across the street from my sister, they went to take a curling class.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading the chat room.
I figured I'd get your attention that way. So they went and took a curling class, and they're like much harder than it looks. And it was so funny to see her like crouched down on the ice with that big goddamn thing.
Toothbrush.
It's like 35-pound polished granite. And the reason, do you know why it's called curling?
No.
I mean, what the reason? Because when they, you know what, right when they release it, they slightly spin it.
Okay.
And they call that the curl. Oh. I just learned that in something that I happened to catch.
Well, growing up with Canadian television is like half of our channels. Sure. We used to watch like Saturday afternoon curling. And it would just be on.
Instead of bowling?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There was like bowling for dollars and like curling. But
bucks.
curling was on like more than it ever should be in a childhood.
Ever.
And it's just shuffleboard with a fancy little dance at the beginning. But all I want to do is be, because you make fun of those fuckers, but I want to be limber enough to hold that glamorous pose.
Right when they release.
Oh my God, that one leg, there's like ballet, for the love of fuck. Their legs stretched out, they've got that goddamn pose. All it needs a tiara and a sash, they won the goddamn parade.
Oh,
like a little toothbrush on ice. It was just
and then the sweepers, they're just
like
delightful.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know. And I still haven't figured out who's not. Is
it's
it
just
bocce
shuffleboard.
ball?
It's just shuffleboard. It's just the closest one to the. And there's no skill to that fucking shit at all. You're just aiming for something and moving on.
And lucky if it hits and bang, you know.
Who knows?
But
but I was so into it because it was the first time that an American team had ever won a gold at that stupid ass fucking sport.
And they were so excited.
You can't help but be excited for them because it's so dumb. Well, but I can't make fun because I can barely bend down and pick a pencil up. And this fucker's doing ballet moves on a frozen goddamn bowling lane.
And if you saw my house, you'd know I never sweep. So it is. But there were that luge bit. The luge thing doesn't make any sense to me because that's
it's
just
a suicide.
Fucking
Again,
suicide.
Well,
the skeleton
thing. Board cross, suicide. Snowboard cross, suicide.
Suicide.
Half pipe, suicide attempt.
Suicide.
Especially the day that was frozen.
Absolutely.
Downhill skiing before they lowered it a half a mile because the winds were too high, and they hit 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, oh yeah.
70 miles an hour in the men's giant slalom, whatever it's called.
That thing?
I don't go 70 miles an hour in a car with a seatbelt on and 2 tons of fiberglass keeping me safe. This motherfucker, what is that helmet gonna do? You take that helmet off.
Nothing.
What is that helmet
going
to do for you?
That's why I have an Iron Man one? Come on.
It's just ridiculous. It was all suicide attempts.
I agree.
Every single sport was like, well, that's an interesting way to die. And then
that's an interesting way to die.
Some people.
That jump thing. I don't know what's called freestyle.
Freestyle.
What the fuck is that?
And how do you know you can do it?
They go up in the air, and then they do They do 2 revolutions backwards on skis, land on their feet or their ass. That's exciting too.
Oh my God.
And they just keep going, and then they stand up and go, "I'm okay, USA." And you're like, do your parents not like you?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
did someone like push you?
I mean, love is out of the question, but I don't think they like you anymore.
I don't even think they like you a little bit.
The minute they let you train for that sport, they thought, well, we
he
needed the
wasn't my
kidney.
favorite.
Yeah. Susie needs a kidney.
It'll be
sport.
cheaper if something happened. I mean, because this Chris Mazders, Mazders, I think it is. Who the fuck knows? I remember them doing a story on him. He was a 3-time Olympian, and he was in this awful career slump. And he ended up having the performance of a lifetime and won the first U.S. medal ever in men's luge. So it was like this kind
of... Oh, with the beard? Oh, he was a cutie.
He really was.
He was a cutie. Mm-hmm. And he cried.
Yep. First gold with that Red Gerard, the 17-year-old. I mean, that little kid. Come on, 17. First person in the Olympics to have been born in 2000.
Oh, yeah.
That was Mike Tirico's little tidbit. Thanks, Mike Tirico.
I know.
Thanks, Mike, according to...
Now I'm mad at my TV, and that doesn't happen.
No, but that's how I felt, like Adam Rippon. Thanks, Mike. But, yeah, it was
the elder statesman at 27. Fuck you.
Right, exactly.
How about a gold medal for being an asshole? You just won.
And that Nathan Chen, did you guys watch that? Did you see anything, like, with the figure skating? Nothing? That Nathan Chen, they were saying he was like the thing. He was going to be the really big splash, right? And he ended up at least 2 of the times I saw him just falling.
Yeah, he bombed both short programs, the one for the team event and then the one for the men's figure skating gold. He bombed, but then he came back unheard of. He moved from 17th to 5th
Okay.
He did 6 quads, landed
It was amazing.
5 of them, and then the one that gives him all trouble,
Yep.
all of them, is the triple axel.
Yep.
Even the men. But I got so good. I watched so much goddamn figure skating the last 2 weeks. I now know I can tell the triple axel from all the rest.
Oh.
Because the approach is different, so I know, like, oh, they're going to throw an axle in here. And you can see it coming.
He's our own Johnny Weir.
I can just see him at his house. Oh, Axel's coming. I can just see you.
It is, but now between I,
see
Tanya, and
him
watching
with
that
the
over and
thing?
over
Yeah,
again, and how many
yeah.
times I've watched the Tanya
sure.
Harding things, and then all these Olympic events,
Sure.
that you know because the men can't land it. The men can do quadruples, but if they have to go back and do a triple axel, they bomb it all the time, and you see the difference in the approach. Like, you take off from a whole different position, and it's hard. Like, I gotta give it to them. It's
for me,
legitimately counterintuitive to anything they should be. I mean, jumping up in the air is just stupid when you're on ice skates, first off. But then to do it from that angle and stop your forward and use like the stopping of forward motion to propel you into the air is not smart. It's not what smart people do. So it's like when hockey,
I
you
made
know,
a mistake.
you watch hockey.
I do, yeah.
So you know when they do the hockey stop?
Yeah.
Imagine if they did the hockey stop, but then they decided to fly in the air and turn 3 times.
Oh.
Because
no.
they're going forward.
Yeah.
They skate backwards, skate backwards, skate backwards, and then just about to jump, they turn forward, hit the ice, and use that motion to spin
no.
them. So that's how you know it's an
Yeah.
axle.
Okay.
Because they enter it from that forward, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you still flying?
Right.
It's very weird.
What did you do
Very weird.
wrong?
Well, I got somebody wrong in my retelling of things because I was thinking that Nagasu was the boy. I pulled a Clayton. Really, it's a girl.
Oh, yeah, the one that she landed the triple axel.
Yeah.
First American to land one in the
Yeah.
It
Olympics.
says here on my notes that Meowcat is a boy.
And I'm gonna make a note that Nagasu is a girl.
Yes.
My bad.
She
I
is,
was
and
thinking
lovely.
it was
And
that
because
guy.
they keep
Yeah,
playing
my
that
bad.
over and
My
over and
bad.
over because it's such a big
Sorry,
deal
you're
that an
right.
American woman finally, I think she's only the fourth woman to ever land it in the Olympics, and she's the first American. But when they show it slowed
It says
down,
the first American woman
To land it.
ever to land the jump.
the
at
triple X at the
games.
Olympics.
Okay.
There's been a couple, Tanya Harding
Harding.
landed it second, but she was
Sure.
the first one to land it in an American competition. But when they show it, because they show it over and over again, and they show it in such super slow motion on that, whatever it is, 1080, whatever we watch it in.
Yes, 1080.
That you can see whether it's sweat, snot, or spit that follows her around for all.
Oh,
It's just
no.
funny. Because I've seen that
Oh, I would
woman,
love that.
whatever
That would
it
be
is that's
great.
flying off her body,
Yeah.
just goes in a circle with her.
I love
I'm
that.
like, even the spit does it.
It follows her.
Yeah, it follows
Yes,
her.
I
So,
like it.
What were you obsessed with? Because I mean,
Oh,
God
we're
damn
still
it.
on that
No, we
section?
covered that.
Oh, my God. I didn't
Yeah.
realize we were on that
Oh
segment at
no,
all.
we covered that because that was just and
What
that
was
was
that?
fantastic.
I don't
And
even-
but I'm want to agree with you about something you said last week. I was fucking irritated that they didn't show the Olympic medals.
Medal ceremonies were few and far between. Were
Yeah.
mostly broadcast separately
right.
and like one whole event.
Right, and like snippets.
But they were so good about doing it all live on prime time
Okay.
and making people compete in uncomfortable hours to get it on prime time for us
Okay.
because we are the important country.
We are. Yes.
I mean, come
Most
on.
bigly
In this
important,
respect, yeah,
yes.
we.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So
I don't
Anyway.
think I have an obsession.
okay.
I think we're going to just let that go. Because I really
I
don't.
feel like the Tonga guy was yours.
Yeah.
And wait till you
that's
see him be a
call.
good sportsman. You cry, you get a boner, it'd be uncomfortable.
Oh,
For who?
me actually. That
You won't
was
be
just-
here.
I know, but that was just uncomfortable. Just the thought, just that.
The lap dance is better if the stripper's crying. I'm just saying.
Oh my god.
It's a song.
It's also factual.
Yeah. It's only fun because it's true.
Let's do this because we can. Finally, our headline segment moving on. My God, so many things to do. Red sauce leads to meatball thief.
It's a bird. It's a plant. It's a bird.
You can't look at that anymore.
Don't piss on electrical parts.
Well, let's wrestle.
Oh, there's something that no one's paying attention to in Pennsylvania.
We would have had 2 more headlines to read about, but Kat Carlson is tardier than normal to get here, so we'll come up with more stories here in just a minute on Q Talk America because we've got them.
Oh, I have a third one.
Oh, you do? We'll get to it in a minute. We'll get to it. We're very excited for everybody. Come back with us. We're going to have hour 2 right after this.
We've all got places to go. We've all got places to go. You're listening to Q Talk America.
Educates, syncopates, radio communicates, radio, the sound of year-round pleasure.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Well, once again, everybody, we are back. It is the beginning of hour 2. Little overtime, but we don't really care. We can do it because why? We own the whole fucking network. Nobody's going to tell us what
Tell
to do.
the affiliates, yeah.
Let everybody else know. It's all right. My gosh. But I am appreciating Meow Cal is apparently going to be in charge of letting everybody from Tonga know that there's going to be a wedding coming to their island at some point. Apparently, I'm involved. There's not been a restraining order to my knowledge thus far, so...
It's not official till they sign it.
Right. Well, that's good.
I mean, I've been told.
You've been served,
right,
sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Heaven's sakes alive. Anyway, Kat Carlson's supposed to be here at some point in the show, but we don't know when. And if not, well, it'll just be a show without Kat Carlson. But in the meantime, Marnie's here, Al's here, I'm here, and you are listening and enjoying maybe portions of the show. We're not sure, but this is Headlines. It goes like this.
Can we tell them the best part?
Which part?
The part where Marnie goes, "Are we back on yet?" I'm like, it doesn't really matter. There's no one in that room.
There's music still playing.
Yeah. No, but there's no one in here.
Right.
She's asking the two of us that are outside the room if we're back on yet.
Good, Marn.
Not if you can see all of us.
That's a valid point. If you could see the entire cast, no.
We're not on yet.
No matter what music is playing or not,
Yeah.
we are not back.
Are we back from break?
No.
Well, we're still in the break room.
I still feel like maybe the break music needs to be a trifle longer because it does catch me off guard. I may have to find a secondary ditty for it.
That was good. We made it.
Well, police say a facial clue led to the arrest of a Pennsylvania man charged with stealing a pot of meatballs. That clue, red sauce smeared on his face and clothes, was apparently easy to find. Authorities in Luzerne County have charged 48-year-old Liam Porter with burglary, criminal trespass, and theft by unlawful taking for allegedly swiping a pot of meatballs from a man's...
way to thieve?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lawful way.
Yeah.
He allegedly swiped a pot of meatballs from a man's garage on Monday. Now, I couldn't find a picture to really go along with the story, but I decided that this picture would suffice.
That seems like a scene of the crime incident.
It is not the man who stole. This is not the alleged.
This is a dramatic reenactment.
Right. This is
children's
exactly.
theater at its
Exactly.
finest.
Police say the victim reported his meatballs missing and told officers around 2:30 p.m. on Monday that he saw Mr. Potter standing in front of his house with red sauce on his face and clothes, and the pot the meatballs were in was found on the street. I think that's three things that put it together for him. I'm kind of impressed by that. It's unclear if Mr. Potter washed the sauce off before he was arrested a short time later. The ball snatcher's attorney did not immediately respond to a voicemail seeking comment. However, we do know based on that he does at least have legal representation.
Criminal mischief.
Ball snatcher.
Ball snatcher.
How many people just cook in their garage? Like you're warming up meatballs in a pot in the garage. I don't understand all that.
Maybe they were having a party.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Need to get more information on that. I feel.
Back home there were a lot of parties in garages.
Oh, were there?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe.
A lot of bands seem to start.
I'm just saying
band.
though, if you're gonna steal
sure.
something, steal a meatball.
Yep. Yep. I do appreciate that.
I mean.
Yep.
I have been lured into
can't
evil
see.
deeds by meatballs. I'm just saying.
That's
Really?
fair. That's
Okay.
very
They're
fair.
delicious.
Oh, look, I just got.
God, what
They
happened?
can be delicious. They're not always delicious,
No,
but when done correctly, Mama's a fan.
now I don't know where that fucking story is.
Which one?
But the one that I sent you.
Oh, well, I hope you find it.
Yeah, no, me too.
Because I've got things to. We got stuff
We've
to.
got things. We've got things. If let's.
What do you want to do?
Go ahead and we'll set this up.
I'm apprehensive about showing the video
because
of copyright infringement.
Oh.
So I think maybe you should just maybe explain what we're going to see, and we'll watch the video and you can comment over it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yes. So
she's been dreaming of being a color commentator.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe I'll start yelling like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's well done.
And then, you don't expect these things when you're sitting in the newsroom.
Well, live TV.
Live
It's like
TV.
like right here. Anything can happen.
Well, and
And
sometimes it does.
It has.
But you never know. And but the one thing maybe you're not anticipating is feeling like you're at Home Depot or Costco, with birds just flying around.
Right.
Because have you ever been? Home Depot, Costco?
No, I can't afford to save that much money.
Lord of mercy. So
I actually don't think you've ever been to a Home Depot in your life.
Oh, remember that
life.
one? I was there that one time.
For?
And I asked for a docent. I don't know.
Is there a guide that can get me through this warehouse?
Where's the tour guide? Who's in charge?
Doesn't even sound like something
Who's going to
you
talk
would
me through the
do.
exhibits?
Sounds horrible.
Who's going to talk me through the exhibits?
That's funny.
I'm at some kind of lesbian heritage museum. I want to know the information.
Who chose orange?
A lesbian.
Why?
There's that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah,
I
me
don't
neither.
think so.
Anywho, this is a San Diego morning
San Diego
show.
morning show, and they were going to be having a bird.
Yeah.
They were introducing a bird.
They have a zoo there,
and
the San Diego Zoo. Yeah.
Correct. I told you I can't find the article. I know it was the morning, and the gentleman's name was Eric,
Okay.
who was the co-anchor. So Eric and this lady,
This lovely lady.
this lovely gal, are.
Well, watch this video. I'm just going to roll the video. This is a morning show KFMB out of San Diego. Their morning show. We're not going to hear any audio, but here they are. Watch the video. See what happens here to her. She's on camera, and boom! Look at that. She gets a bird.
Oh my goodness!
Lands right on her head in the studio.
Nobody expected it. That was its entrance, by the way.
Grand entrance, and then it scares the hell out of that guy.
Because it went to the birds,
Yeah.
as it were.
So yeah.
That's an ugly fucking bird,
It
too.
really is.
Beautiful bird. Why
The
how is that
anchors
ugly?
were talking, where you saw that, the anchors were talking about the upcoming zoo segment when the bird just
Lands right on her head.
on the
And look at
co-host.
that fucker mansplaining how
And
to
by
act when
the
a bird's
way-
on your head, and then
By
he
the
gets
way,
it.
she's fucking impressive.
She
Yeah.
just sits. Right.
She
just
played
stays.
it cool,
Right,
but
right, right.
confronted the bird after the commercial, apparently.
Yeah.
You don't mess up another girl's hair. Good thing I have a lot of hairspray. Her name
Right,
is
oh.
Michelle Medina.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
That bird
and
sees
look
him
at
being a
him.
dick and
He's
attacks.
just a big sissy.
Uh-huh.
I like this still shot. That's a good shot.
That's
of it right there.
fantastic. She said, as a working mom, it was nice to have a little scalp massage. So, well done.
there's
Well
a
done. But
silver
it just,
lining
I
that
thought
shit.
Was, thank you. I just thought that was fantastic because out of nowhere, and she really did. I thought I would not handle that well.
Oh, no.
No.
Would have been my response.
Well,
Actually, based on,
that happens a
however,
lot.
based on what
Yeah.
we were seeing earlier,
Like, that's like, just freeze on that for a second.
Oh, that-
she
no,
is
that
just
is. That's
saying,
just a solid-
this is
Yeah.
my life.
so
And he's
This
like,
is
now
I went to journalism school to have a flamingo shit on my
for
head.
viewers who may have been with us a little earlier, do not confuse this lovely look with this look,
Oh, right.
because
It's
Can
a
you
whole show
imagine?
about head adornments.
yes, there's that
Whether
one.
voluntary or involuntary.
there was
Yes.
a flamingo in one and a flamingo
It's not a
in the
it's
other.
not a flamingo.
The more you know.
It's not a flamingo. I forget. It's a cupper. There's a different name for the bird. It's like a cupper. I read the story.
It looks fucking
crane.
prehistoric. It's just one more thing to know.
It's a pink crane.
It's not either.
It's prehistoric.
Making this shit
From
up.
Jurassic fucking Park. What are we talking about?
Marnie,
Well-
you have oh, that was your story.
That was my story. I like the bird.
Speaking of ugly shit, Jared Kushner, who has worn dueling hats for more than a year as President
Yes.
Donald Trump's senior advisor,
Ah.
unqualified, and son-in-law, barely qualified, has been stripped of his access to the nation's top secrets, officials said Tuesday, after his security clearance was downgraded to who the fuck are you and why are you here?
Yes.
Can you just imagine if the person in charge of Middle East peace
Right.
was
Downgraded.
Chelsea Clinton's son, Chelsea Clinton's husband? Like, come on, people.
Right.
But, I mean, you can't explain hypocrisy to Republicans because they don't understand it anymore. Kushner, along with other White House officials who've been operating on interim clearances, had their access altered last week after Chief of Staff John Kelly stipulated new changes to the security clearance system. No, these aren't new changes. This is just shit you
No,
made up
yeah,
this year.
yep.
Everybody had to have a security
Right.
clearance.
It's always been that way. None of this is
now,
new.
what is there,
Hi, Harry. Hi, Rocky.
5 countries now are saying that they've specifically asked for Kushner
Yes,
because they know how to get to him.
and they know that he's susceptible to blackmail.
So aides who previously operated on top secret, sensitive, compartmented information interim clearances saw their access changed to secret, a classification for less sensitive material, like who's stealing Barb's sandwich. That's the secret they can keep now. You know what I mean?
Fucking
Oh,
Barb.
Somebody took Barb's sandwich out of the refrigerator. Do you know who it is?
Who's
we,
eating-
can, we can tell Jared.
Who's eating my yogurt?
He's on secret level now.
There was a post made that I think
my
it may have been
God.
from The Onion that the headline was, Jared now forced to read over Ivanka's shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh,
So the lesser secret
terrifying.
clearance allows access to far fewer government secrets. It would prevent Kushner from accessing the presidential daily brief. But are you ready for this one? How did we not know this before? That the president can show whoever they
Anything
would
he
like.
wants. Right.
What?
But most of them are
Yeah.
smart
I
enough
did
to
not know
realize.
Right, you know, turns
No,
out,
he can override every bit of it.
yeah, he can show to everybody. If he wants to call up like the garbage man and be like, hey, want to read something?
Yeah.
Which I guess we kind of knew from House of Cards. Like,
The fact that it comes from TV. Come on.
right, but I guess they kind of hinted at that at House of Cards.
But that's 100% true. He could override it. Now, they're saying this afternoon, once the word came out that he was been downgraded, they were like, wait a minute, don't you find it odd that because as compromisable as Jared is and all this, but he's not defending. The dumpster fire hasn't come out and been like, oh, we're just going to give him a pass. Hasn't given him a pass, hasn't defended him or done any of
because
that.
she can-
Almost like he's ready for Jared to take a bullet for him. Like, I'm not going to defend him because he's going to go down too because he knows how. So
Hopefully they're all learning that there's only one person in that, like, Trumpocentric world.
yeah.
Like, there's only one thing that's spinning around, and possibly the daughter he wants to fuck. But everybody else is expendable. I mean, these are his words, not mine. He's mentioned it more times than
if it
anyone.
wasn't my daughter, I'd date her.
I know,
What?
right, yeah, and how fuckable she is. So dozens of White House officials have operated on these interim clearances since Trump took office more than a year ago. Kelly had grown frustrated with just having this job and the high number of aides without permanent access and has worked to shrink the number of temporary clearances. There should be none. In February 16th memos, Kelly stated that the White House officials who have been operating on this interim clearance since last July would have their clearances discontinued. That included Kushner, and if I'm not mistaken,
It should include
Ivanka
Ivanka.
hasn't passed
Right,
yet
no,
either.
she hasn't either. She hasn't either.
But she also, She also didn't go from someone no one has heard of and who only sells apartments on Fifth Avenue to brokering peace between Israel and Palestine.
Right.
Like, just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you get, you know what I mean?
Go to the Wailing Wall.
Yeah, I don't get to be the
an
mayor
Well,
of
and one of the countries that
San
apparently
Francisco
had
because I'm gay.
one of the countries that had goods on him that they were saying earlier was
Maybe.
Israel, because and oddly, remember the dumpster fire said that Jared's the one who can make this work.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sure he can.
Dozens, hundreds have failed.
Right.
But this
This one,
pale-faced
this
asshole.
Jew's gonna make it work.
Yeah,
It's
and
like-
yeah, the problem is that she can still be. It's not even just reading over his shoulder. I mean, it's not.
She'll
as
just
though
hand it
she's-
to him.
Right. It's not as though she's not going to share it with him
Right.
and still be privy to everything, and then he can go off.
But
and,
it also negates his viability for any of these 37 jobs that he was tasked with, because apparently he's going to do everything. So it really is like,
Right.
well, if you don't have the clearances, you can't do these jobs. There's no point in you even being in this
Right.
White House at all. So exit stage left, even.
Sure. Even.
I mean, come on, get the hell out.
Right.
Go back to your oddly numbered 666 building where you're trying to get funding. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember what the number is. I know it's in the billion. I want to say 3, but I probably am wrong on that.
Okay.
They have something in the billions payment due. I believe it's March 1st, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make that payment.
Maybe Russia's not going to come through with that last payment.
Wow.
I don't know who exactly he owes it to, but my gosh.
That Deutsche Bank.
Oh, there's Deutsche. There's Deutsche Bank. There's
mean-
Alpha Bank. Several of them are all wrapped
I
up
know,
into
but
this.
Deutsche Bank's here.
No, but I mean that's been like the kind of main
Oh, yeah.
hub.
I've just never heard of Alpha Bank, but Deutsche Bank, like,
I've never heard of the Alpha Bank.
Alpha Bank
thing.
is one of the other big
right,
ones.
but it's not in America. Like,
Right.
Deutsche Bank
Right,
is
no,
here.
no, Deutsche Bank's in Russia.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're connected.
But
to
they have
that, too.
branches here.
They have
like,
branches
I know
here
people that work for
in New
yeah.
York, right?
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
who work for that company.
Yep.
I know. Are you Russian? Was it murder? So
we don't know.
that's Jared.
Yeah,
You got it, Jared.
just Jared.
Yeah, I'll be again when we're all done and I go in and watch Rachel. I'll find out more because,
Yep.
especially this past week, Mueller's been fucking busy. Like now he's got Gates. Like he's got Gates bent over a barrel now.
Right.
Just let's go. Because now he dropped all the other charges, made the 2 charges, and now they rewrote all the charges originally for Manafort that were both of them. And now that's all singular against Manafort. We're getting ready to rumble.
All right, so I got to do Obsession Part 2, what I was really supposed to talk about.
Oh. Is that like this time it's personal? What I'm really supposed to talk about?
Okay, and it's on this topic because, this time,
While many have failed, the
Fucking
hope of
Meow
all
Cow.
humanity is in the hands of a very generic, non-speaking, slightly better than Eric husband guy.
slightly
Thank you, Meow Cow.
slightly better than Eric.
That's
Or
fantastic
Tiffany.
and
So-
well read.
In the wake of all of these allegations and commercials for impeachment, which run on MSNBC like fucking wildfire, there is a podcast called Slow Burn.
Yes.
8 episodes, 30 minutes long, about the Watergate scandal, told from different people's point of view as to how they fit into the story or come out of the story. And I listened to it all in a day, day and a half, 2 days. But it's done. And 8 episodes. It is absolutely terrific. But it gives you a sense of what they're doing with getting people to plead guilty. Who's going to, be the one that's like, oh, I'm not going down with this ship. I will tell you
Sure.
anything you want to know. And his name was Dean.
Yeah.
John Dean.
The-
John Dean was the one that turned on
Deep
Everybody.
Throat guy.
No. That's a whole different person. John Deep Throat did undercover and talked to people. He was a source. John Dean was a witness. He went right on and said,
okay.
"This is what's going on." And one of the impressive things was, I can't remember who was the head of the, but Fred Thompson, actor slash
dead.
politician
Was part
slash
of it,
actor.
right.
Still dead.
He was the Republican prosecutor
Right?
and ended up doing his job. But whoever the head was that was reading it was like, why are these in quotes? Like, why are there quotation marks around these sentences? Like, it wasn't. They're comparing it to Comey, saying he took contemporaneous notes,
Okay.
memorandized
Right.
everything. My favorite new word. So he was like, how can this possibly be in quotes?
And his name, say it again, John
Dean.
I believe it's John Dean.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So they go about their story, and then they interview someone, and they were worried that they weren't getting all the information from a Republican-led investigative committee. So they sent someone else in there. I think his name was Blumenthal. Was the other guy's? No, Sidney Blumenthal is in the story somewhere else. His name was like poll or some shit. Anyways, he was the one that told them that everything in the White House was being recorded, and they were like, oh, so that's why it's in quotation marks, because you heard this said out loud.
Okay.
He's like, because there's a recording.
'Cause I heard it.
Quoting a recording.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And so the whole thing of like how they got the tapes after the Pentagon, from the Pentagon Papers to getting Nixon's tapes. Oh, which brings me to something newsworthy that's going to come up next. So that's my obsession. And it's going to play off of the next. It's going to pay off of the next story. John Dean warns Gates. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's still around.
Which I saw part of this. There was and I think I still have it recorded. There was a thing a few weeks ago. Actually, now it's probably been 2 months, 3 months ago on CNN. It was called "The Most Dangerous Man in America," and it was all about the guy, I forgot his name, who actually fought and got the Watergate, all the papers out and got them to the media. He got them to the Post.
That's the Pentagon Papers.
Or Pentagon Papers, I'm sorry. Yeah. It was his story about that, and Dean was obviously talked about in that because clearly that, that's where all this got leaked to the Post, and then Post starts asking questions and looking around, and it all gets exploited. But it's very interesting to when you that whole story.
All the fights of how they got everything, that Nixon was so crazy paranoid, and so you're hoping that our president now is too, because remember he said he had Comey.
He goes, I hope there are tapes.
He's like, I can prove what that happened between Comey and I, and Comey was like, I hope there's tapes.
Yeah.
Play it.
Yeah.
Play it. Right.
And so it was the instant thing of like going back to the Watergate days of like, oh my God, is this dumbass recording everything in the White House? And like, there's a legal precedent that you have to release that. Like, it's been established by the Supreme Court that's already said
it's public.
It's public knowledge. So, anyways.
Yeah, it's been very interesting.
So that's going to pay off. Trust me.
Oh, probably so.
No, with me. I'm going to pay it off and then my next story.
Oh, okay.
So, but I had to give you a little bit of background.
A little taste.
Got it.
Nice. I love it.
I just teased you in the wrong part.
Thank you. Well,
tickled your foot, not your taint.
God.
Is that so wrong?
Yes.
We back to crying with a heart.
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
I don't want to be right. That's for sure.
Well, it's not love in an elevator. However, it was peeing in an elevator.
Oh.
China is using surveillance video of a child taking a leak in an elevator to remind parents that they should take better control over their children. This past Sunday, the Ministry of Public Security posted footage of a young boy peeing on the control buttons in an elevator in southwest Chongqing. The security camera surveillance footage showed a young boy urinating onto the button panel, while alone in an elevator last Friday. After he relieves himself, the boy zips up his pants and prepares to get off at the next floor, but karma bites him in the ass. The elevator literally just breaks down. All the buttons start to blink on and off, then go solid. The panic boy starts hitting multiple buttons, which are still covered in his own piss, before the light on the control panel completely goes out, and then all the lights in the elevator go out, and the elevator stops. He short circuits the entire fucking elevator. And by the way, I have a picture. Here's a picture of the security camera footage of him in the elevator pissing on the control panel.
Oh, attaboy.
So according to local media, the boy was not hurt in the incident. I was hoping to God, because I know how this, like back home.
A little shock to the badoobies would be good for you.
There's something you learn back home in the Midwest. You know what electric fence is around cattle? Give you a little shock to keep the cattle just inside the pasture, right? It's just a single wire. Do not pee on the electric fence. You learn that early in life. But according to local media, the boy was not hurt in the incident after he was rescued from the elevator after it short-circuited. The same video, also posted by Beijing News, has now hit over 12 million views and about 20,000 comments. Now, several users said the child got what he deserved and suggested that the parents should pay for the elevator repairs. I think, personally, the boy should pay for the parents can pay for the elevator repairs to get it done, but I think the boy should be saddled with the elevator repairs to learn his lesson. One of the comments said, I am satisfied with the outcome. His parents should pay for the repairs. One user wrote in a comment that had more than 11,000 likes. Others, however, expressed their concerns for the young boy and criticized their parents for failing to discipline him. One quote said, the child needs to be taught a lesson, the father too. I don't know why the mother, not just the father. Look at their parents' response. His family is disgusting, one user wrote. Another added, behind a naughty child, there are definitely naughty parents. Now, according to the Beijing News, the boy's father denied the validity of the video and said that his son could not yet urinate at that height.
Oh, God.
So the son doesn't believe it.
He went with science.
And the son does not admit it, according to what the local newspaper has said. So, again, I think that the boy should be somehow saddled with. There's got to be some sort of a repercussion for this kid. I don't community service. I don't know. Maybe you have to spend the rest of your rest of your summer cleaning all the buttons in elevators. I don't know. You got to do something. It would make sense. By the way, if you're not watching and just listening, Kat Carlson has just arrived in the old studio right here.
Here I am.
Here she is.
Are you proud? Are you proud?
I'm always proud.
Yes.
Sure.
I just wanted to make sure.
Out and proud for many years
After
now.
a pride meeting, how can you not be? My God.
For sure.
So there we go. Marnie, continue on.
Well, there was a story about
an old man from Nantucket.
A lovely lady.
Nope. That's Katie June's story, not ours. An interesting story that I found about a transgender wrestler in high school.
Oh.
And and not just in any state in the United States, but in Texas.
Oh.
So that, but it
looking like a man.
Right. Texas should let trans wrestlers. The boy's name is Mac Beggs. Texas should let trans wrestlers like Mac Beggs fight other boys.
Agreed.
And this is because the rules say
it's all weight-based, right?
Right. So no, well, it's not because of that. Trans wrestler Mac Beggs won the girls' 110-pound category, going with the weight piece, in a state wrestling tournament for the second time. He was booed, but he wasn't. It's not his fault. He wasn't allowed to wrestle the boys. He wants to do that. Do opponents of transgender rights realize that transgender men exist? That's a question. This is an opinion piece that this Samantha Allen says, I'm left wondering yet again after Texas transgender boy Mac Beggs won his second state-level wrestling tournament in a girls' category. Beggs
identifies as a boy,
right,
but is forced to wrestle girls.
And takes steroids.
Well, here's a picture here's a picture of Mac right there. I guess you hold your arm up like that. You won a round.
Yep.
So there's one picture, and then here is
that was winning the state title.
Okay, and then here's another picture.
Yep.
Right there.
Very attractive.
Yeah, good looking kid.
And the unique predicament, his being barred from competing against boys because his original birth certificate lists him as female. But being allowed to take testosterone. Sorry, not steroid, but testosterone because right,
hormone.
Because
so they're
hormone,
They're
right?
Different.
Hormone. My bad. There was something about steroids in here, so I apologize. Because it is a medically necessary part of his transition-related health care, has drawn a great deal of media attention and predictably outrage. It also exposes a blind spot in the culture war over transgender rights. Often, the architects of anti-transgender policies don't seem to realize or don't care that transgender people aren't just comprised of those who transition from male to female, but those who transition from female to male as well. So focused are they on the specter of men in dresses that they don't think about how their rules will affect men in pants, or in this case, wrestling unitards. Let it go, Al. Beggs himself.
But haven't we talked about that specifically? That until a man shows up to pee in a women's restroom because that's what they've been told they have to do by their birth certificate, that's when everybody's going to be like, wait, how did this happen?
Right.
The law you passed.
That's right.
So now your young lady flower is wrestling a boy.
Right.
In a women's competition, and people are, and the girls probably thinking, "What the fuck?
What the fuck is happening?
How did this happen?"
Yeah.
Like,
and the person
looks like a man wrestle with a man.
The person that he wrestled for the state championship had been, I think, something 54-0, 56-0 in her matches, and then comes up against someone who is now taking testosterone,
right?
And transitioning and wants to wrestle in the boys
category.
Thank you. I couldn't think of rather than having to be in the girls category, and just super frustrating. I think on all sides.
Right.
He's been caught in this awkward spot for the entirety of his wrestling career. As the Daily Beast previously reported, he won the girls' 110-pound category in a state tournament last February. Although his victory angered parents and other competitors, the University Interscholastic League, a Texas state-level high school athletics organization, failed to adjust the rules to allow Beggs to wrestle boys instead. So the 18-year-old's repeat victory in the same category came as no surprise. He won again and finishing off his high school with a 132-9 record. And, the poor guy was booed, when he's winning. But those boos should be directed not at Beggs, but at the archaic rules that kept him in the girls' category against his wishes.
Right, and then and Bridge is saying good for him for still competing and showing the ridiculousness of those rules.
Sure.
And he's making a point. So he's got to be the guinea pig that gets ridiculed. Mm-hmm.
And here he is
wanting to do the right thing.
Right.
Wanting to do the right thing, but being denied it because somebody got a fucking Bible for Christmas.
Correct.
It's a terrible gift, in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
Not a good gift.
It doesn't really. It keeps on giving in the worst way.
Fucking Texas.
It's not okay.
Even though I was put in this position,
Keeping Florida's hopes alive.
Even though I didn't want to be in this position, even though I wanted to wrestle the guys, I still had to wrestle the girls. All I can hope for is that they come to their senses and realize this is stupid and we should change the policies to conform to other people in my position. Because more
I'm
are going to
getting
be
very,
coming along.
very hopeful for our future by the responses of children to
I agree.
archaic, shitty rules. Like I'm starting to get really, really encouraged that they're looking up and being like, wait a minute, what?
Wait, this is a thing that we do?
Yeah.
But why? We have the internet.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm going to look up from the internet and try to figure out what the fuck you're doing, Grandpa, because it don't make no kind of sense.
In 2016, as a University Interscholastic League frequently asked question noted, 95% of the University Interscholastic League member school superintendents gave the birth certificate rule their stamp of approval. So just 2 years ago, whatever.
Because they weren't thinking of girls.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Again, we're at another story where the woman perspective was never taken
Considered.
into
well,
consideration.
and Texas
that
is
happens?
I know. Shitty.
Are you kidding?
Texas is just one of 7 states that requires a birth certificate change or proof of surgery to allow K through 12 transgender athletes to compete against others of their gender. So can you?
So wait. So all we're waiting on is a new birth certificate to show up.
Well, no, because he may not have done.
It doesn't because
he may have not done the gender reassignment because a lot of people don't do that anymore. It's not
Right. Well, there are a few people that I know, obviously from the entertainment world that I've been around, that have that paperwork all done, but they've not had that part done.
Right.
And that's,
so they're waiting on a birth certificate that says he's a boy.
It's one of 7 because the at birth.
No, I
right
understand.
now,
I get that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So as soon as he shows up with the new piece of paper that says I'm a boy, then we're done with this.
But a lot of places won't
takes down
do it
his
when
pants,
you have
which is humiliating.
They wait
it's
for
ridiculous.
the surgery that's no longer.
Oh.
They just don't perform that surgery as much anymore, especially female to male transitioning, because you end up with the angry inch. You just don't end up somewhere usable. I don't know what the phrase would be.
Well, and the thing is that, as I said, otherwise it's kind of like what the proof of surgery. What are you doing?
Yeah,
take down your pants. Show me.
Well, they used to do that in the
Olympics. I get that it can be like
exactly.
They did that in the Olympics up until Princess Anne or Princess Margaret. I never remember which one was the one with the horses.
Why the long face?
Yeah, why the long face? She was the first person that they didn't because someone had seen her be born. She was born in the era where they had to watch them be born to prove their
legitimacy.
Legitimacy.
Sure.
That
I'm really good at catchphrase today.
Yeah, there you go. So
yeah, you're right, Jenny. Some states won't let you change the birth certificate.
No, that's true. So you're kind of fucked 100 different ways for no good reason.
Absolutely. The mercifully once at the college level, the NCAA has an inclusive policy with guidelines that were developed with input from the LGBT advocates and medical professionals. But I mean, that doesn't do anything right now.
So what I'm hearing is that the NCAA, after centuries, did something right.
Correct. Okay. After a long, long time.
I'm as shocked as you are.
So the NCAA won.
Yep.
Humanity, like none. Like, come on.
Yep. This birth certificate rule, though, that was approved during a year when several state legislatures were targeting transgender people based on their documentation, Beggs has been surrounded by controversy for simply opting to play his sport. And so it's just really sad. When I saw this, I was like, whoa. What a fight that this person is going through anyway. Right, the struggle that he's gone through for 17 years anyway, and now all of a sudden
he's wrestling identity, he's wrestling red tape.
Very nice.
He's just it's a nonstop wrestling.
Yep.
I just learned, and I didn't realize this. I thought John Dean from the Watergate. I thought he was deceased, but he is very much alive.
Yeah, and still commenting on MSNBC.
I have not seen him on MSNBC, or at least I didn't realize it was him because there's a story that I just emailed myself so I can read it later, where he talks to the Washington Post that he is watching all of this very closely.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear his opinions on all this stuff, especially for those.
She just showed me something and asked me if this was him, and it was him as an MSNBC commentator.
Oh, then I need to look some of that up because,
I feel like he shows up on Chris Matthews, but I might be lying.
Oh, okay. I have a hard time watching.
Well, now that I
Hardball.
recognize it, now that I see a picture of him, I'll recognize.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. I need people to stop showing up on Chris Matthews.
Oh, that's right, Jenny. Everybody. I remember you saying that about Jenny's cousin came out as trans last summer. I remember her saying that.
And I
also, Clayton, Jenny's a girl.
Yeah. And I will say, not only are
we misgendering our chat room again?
Yeah. As we're laser focused on the opium epidemic, I
wrote it down. I wrote it. Meow Cal is a boy. I wrote it here. And it all started from a fucking Windows update.
Did you write down opium epidemic too?
I don't have to.
You don't, because it's what the show is mostly about.
Genderless.
Mostly what it's about.
It's about heroin.
But our second thing, I think, is how much we've all grown and changed with the trans community. Like, I feel like we entered this show.
You're right.
Knowing zero or less. Yeah, and like,
agreed.
I would totally agree.
I didn't know that I had personal growth in my 40s, but there it was. Right? You all watched it.
And quite frankly,
it was
how far back were you growing? Because you're not in your 40s anymore.
No, but we started like
ignorant thoughts on it.
We've been at this by 6 years. Yeah,
I know.
Ignorant as fuck on the topic. I started off doing the show knowing.
Sure. And
I knew more about vegans.
I mean,
and thought less of them. But
I still don't understand.
Oh my God! If you're
cheese, I went to a vegan festival this weekend.
You could be atheist, vegan, and transgender. God, you had so many fights.
It was like hippies and cheese, like just everywhere.
No, but they can't eat cheese. It's not cheese because vegans don't eat.
That's why I said
okay, thank you.
Cheese.
When I found out that vegans
it's like a soy-based cheese product.
Oh,
so they can eat like cheese
Nothing
whiz.
has made me say "fuck you" faster than soy-based cheese product.
However,
Marissa made with an Oscar.
Processed American cheese food will get me over to your house today.
Jenny.
I don't know why that's different.
I actually got I bought a little cheese and crackers today because I was there, and one of the things said cheese-based food, and I'm like, I don't think it's that goddamn hard to make cheese. Like, I put that down, and I'm
Ask the Velveeta people. Listen, that's a cheese-based food.
Is this
I don't eat that.
Cheese-based food?
Oh, I love me.
You actually could update your bio on Facebook. You could actually be a cheese-based person.
Oh, I could. That is a legitimate thing.
What is that?
Oh,
goldfish. Yeah. Now
well,
you
the
just
flavor
know
blasted kind.
Now know that is a cheese-based.
No, it's
product.
not. What are the ingredients on that? What are the first
Made with
three?
cheese dust.
Red dye number 7.
Sure.
Made with smiles.
Fuck you.
I'm not joking.
Yep.
I am not fucking joking.
Keep reading.
The list of ingredients. The first
made with smiles and enriched wheat flour.
See, cheese is not the first ingredient.
Cheddar cheese is the second one.
That's
pretty good. Is it legitimately?
It's a damn cracker.
Okay.
Cheddar cheese.
All right,
is the second one.
There's no
and then canola and/or sunflower oil.
And/or. When will you be sure?
Well, we use both a little bit.
I feel like when you're using and/or in the ingredients, no, I'm gonna need to know which one you used.
Also,
like titling a car.
Can you tell the difference though? But can you tell the difference?
Oh no,
Have a taste.
I do enjoy a goldfish.
They're delicious.
But
there's a reason these make children happy.
I'm really surprised that it actually says cheddar cheese, and it's not like cheddar cheese powder or flavoring or elusive, something
elusive. We just couldn't get our finger on it.
Smiles, though.
Okay, I didn't know till my nieces were born that you bribe children with this.
Yeah.
And I would rip goldfish out of children's hands because they're fucking delicious.
So the reason that I have to have
here.
those, I was like, oh my God, I had to buy them. is because with the social work that I'm doing, we're working.
You lure
now,
people in with goldfish?
We sure do. We're working right now with an early childhood habilitation program. And in every one of our meetings, every Tuesday, they're talking about goldfish. They're like, well, we give something that does this, and they use food
Like
as
a reward base, right.
reward base. And so they're like, so then we give them a goldfish. And I'm like, okay, that sounds really good. They keep saying it. I'm like, I have to have them.
So funny
It's
enough, when
stupid.
I first started living with Sharon and the boys, Ronan's world was still very small. Like he was still like in his own little world, and it was like him and whatever was important to him and mom, and that was it. Like didn't acknowledge anybody else, didn't acknowledge anything else. And goldfish are like how we made a connection.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love that.
Because
I love it.
I had goldfish and he wanted some. So
And it worked.
no, they're mine. And now we're the best of friends.
or you have to talk to me.
Inseparable.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want a goldfish? You have to talk to me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Was
Is
he,
it still a bonding moment, or is it still a thing of bond between you two?
Goldfish? No. I mean, we've moved on. It's all foods now. We
All food. All
God,
foods are
that's
included.
good. My
no,
God.
no. We're like
Man cannot live on goldfish alone.
literally the best
might
of
be able
friends
to.
at all times. From the moment we enter each other's company till the moment we part. Yeah,
I
sidekick.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a puppy
I
to
do.
him.
I'm exactly like his puppy. It's true.
That's fun, though.
Yeah. And the garbage
There
trucks.
are worse
and
things.
all
Oh,
the
oh my
trucks,
God! And
but
the garbage trucks
for
and the
sure.
trash and all the. We were printing shirts today. We were screen
Oh,
printing
that's
together
right. That's
today.
right.
Oh, my
I'm on
God.
board.
Now he's a worker. I like it.
Yeah.
I know. I'm starting
Slave
my own
labor.
little Kathy Lee
Kathy Lee.
sweatshop.
I like it.
You're going
I
to
like
love this. It's like garbage trucks mixed with goldfish.
Mixed with paint fumes.
And for every T-shirt you make, here's a goldfish.
There's a goldfish. Wow.
No, we're making a T-shirt with a dog on it. He's excited.
You were going to Kathy Lee Gifford your way through this screen
like
printing
it.
yet.
Don't think I'm not.
I like it.
Two children with
Brilliant.
capable hands. They're gonna make me a lot of money.
Exactly.
Work, kids, work. That's awesome.
I hope you're not expecting me to bring a headline because I didn't.
Oh, no. We didn't. We actually had designed ourselves to not even showing up at all. Because I was really surprised you were this
I know
you were
it was
late.
awfully late. I'm so sorry.
No, that's
Plenty
understandable.
things to talk about.
I hope that means our pride is going to be exceptional this year. Or it's all going to shit. Either way, we got a 50-50 on this.
Could go either way. I'm only in charge of my tiny little kingdom. and
Could-
it looks like it's going to be beautiful.
Could just be a pleasant
like
time
that.
for everyone in April in Arizona.
Gilda
That's all I
Radner.
got. My
Remember she used to
tiny
down
little
the sideline?
kingdom.
Well, speaking of being king of the tiny kingdom, only one living U.S. president will be attending the Reverend Billy Graham's funeral this week.
No.
While the Associated Press
it
reported,
W?
yeah, nope. While the Associated Press reported the dumpster fire will be in attendance Friday at the Charlotte service, his predecessors will not. A spokesperson confirmed with the Citizen Times that former President Barack Obama is unable to attend the funeral because
You don't
you
want to.
shouldn't. Yeah. And two
yeah, you
former
shouldn't.
presidents,
'Cause he's
George
combing
W.
his
Bush,
hair.
who claims that Billy Graham got him sober. We have Billy Graham to thank for that fucking nightmare. And George W. and Bill Clinton traveled to Charlotte this week ahead of service to pay their
Right, they
respects,
saw. Yeah, they already did that.
while Graham's body lied in repose. I love that expression.
At the state capitol.
H.W. Bush told the Citizen Times that he and his wife Barbara are unable to travel to Charlotte because they're almost dead. And a former representative for former President Jimmy Carter said that he
He's not
regrets
wrong.
he cannot attend.
Because he's busy building houses.
Vice President Mike Pence is
he's
expected to
100.
attend the funeral. So Graham died in his sleep, just the evil fucker that he was his entire life. And one of the fun things that came up is they kept not mentioning all the horrible things this little cocksucker has said out loud over the course of his life. Just an asswipe.
Tell us how you feel.
Well, he was, America's minister or whatever.
right, Bridget.
So after listening to, because you forget, so let's backtrack just slightly.
Yeah.
You forget sometimes because Nixon was kind of rehabilitated as an elder statesman who did some good in China, made some, built some bridges with Russia, ended up as an elder statesman. I can't remember where he went after his presidency that he helped kind of like rebuild some peace talks and kind of rehabilitated himself. You forget he was a racist fucking monster.
Oh, yeah.
And that even though they all knew that he was paranoid and out of his goddamn mind before that 72 election, Billy Graham stood up and said that he thanked God every day that God had watched over our country and let
Richard
Nixon win in 72. Like a complete total fucking criminal, paranoid schizophrenic, and just batshit crazy man. And as you listen to the Watergate tapes,
He's
Not
caught
the
on. He's
yeah,
caught
as
on
you-
tape.
As you listen to all the White House tapes through Watergate, Billy Graham is caught on tape being an anti-Semite of the worst possible kind and blaming so many things on Jewish people.
Oh,
Pornography, just all their. He was just horrible, caught on tape, and he invented what Trump does regularly now of being like, "Well, I didn't really mean that. That's not what's in my heart," and was able to somehow
Trump doesn't do that. He sends people out to do that for him.
Right. Somehow he was able to rehabilitate himself to not being this horrible fucking bigot who had horrible things to say about gay people, about Jewish people, about just all walks of life.
Why
about
couldn't
black
Pat
people.
Robertson have gone with him?
But so the other thing that I learned is I forget
He's in a
that
hospital
his
now.
spiritual advisor and ass licking buddy was Pat fucking Buchanan.
Oh.
And how did he not get tainted? Excuse the phrase after saying ass licking. How did Pat Buchanan
It's an unfortunate coincidence.
get to be rehabilitated
And a
after
good
all
time.
this?
I just want to let you know.
So it kind of amazes me that with all this shit, I mean, I'm not surprised that the dumpster fire is going because, you know, there's a white supremacist bigot being buried. I want to go. Maybe they'll build a statue to him. And all the rest of them you just kind of have to back away and be like,
such a fucking shame.
no. And I had either I hadn't known or I had forgotten about all the stuff on the Watergate tapes until
I
he
didn't.
died.
I didn't know that.
Until he died,
Yeah.
and then there was I think, what's the big gay paper?
Advocate.
The Advocate. The Advocate had a really good article just listing like, here's why this motherfucker should rot in hell, and it was terrific. The Advocate was not being passive aggressive, as I will not either. So I just thought that was interesting, and then, like I said, that Slow Burn is a fascinating, fast podcast. It's 4 hours out of your life, and you've heard the whole series. Hopefully, there's going to be a season 2 because I have so many more questions. But riveting to hear, like, hung by his own petard. Like we finally have the correct use of the Shakespearean phrase in Richard Nixon. But just what a fucking ass. And and finding out about Dick Cavett and his part in like Watergate is
and this is
fascinating.
from a podcast that you.
It's called Slow Burn. So I had to watch a couple of episodes of Dick Cavett today as I was like in the rabbit hole of Watergate, and
I didn't realize there was a connection. I'm curious to hear this.
he got
Find
everybody
out.
on. Everybody went on the Dick Cavett show. Dick Cavett was finger on the pulse. He was obsessed with Watergate.
Oh.
And he had people like Nixon's ass boys would show up and lie to the audience, and like Dick Cavett would ask probing questions and like catch them in their lies on the air.
And it was recorded, so.
And and then he would be like, I don't know what to do today. I need my fix of Watergate. Like, where's my fix of Watergate? That's how he would open some shows. Like, he was fascinated by it and is considered one of the major players in the country's knowing about Watergate. Not only did, with the hearings replayed in the middle of the night, but Dick Cavett kept it alive and was just fascinated by it. It was fascinating. Fascinating document.
Podcast.
Thing. So now I can't watch enough because
I'm catching up.
CNN Watergate was pretty interesting, but this is like a whole nother thing to find out little minor players. And
Well,
how
I've got another one that I recorded off of CNN. It was I told you about the one where the most dangerous man in America who does the Pentagon Papers. Then the other one is they revisit I don't know if did they revisit the movie or they revisited all the President's Men, where it's again of all this. We're gonna live through all of it. We're gonna relive through all the movies and all the old stuff, and it's just a fucking almost a carbon copy of what it is now. Very interesting.
That's so freaky.
Except that Trump is far more narcissistic
No.
than Nixon.
No.
Oh, no.
Nixon was a crazy fucker, but
He
Trump.
was. Wait. Well, no.
No, as you listen to the tapes, that's a horse race. Like we are just reliving history.
Or maybe he's just a.
Oh wait, but in what way are you using the narcissistic? Trump wants to see himself on billboards and pictures of himself everywhere and all that kind of stuff.
That would be very different. But
right in that aspect, I think it's different. But
and
like,
he thinks he can get away with everything, just like Nixon.
But Nixon's like a paranoid narcissist.
Right.
Fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he's been smoking pot all the time, and then everybody's out to get him.
Yeah.
And he's terrified of. Well, he's like a germaphobe as well.
But also thinks that he is
so.
because
Trump
he's been
is,
told
for
he's
sure.
been whispered in his ear by God's anointed, the dead one and Pat Buchanan, that he's God's anointed. Like he is the answer.
Sure.
So he has that going for him. That he.
Which
I
is
mean,
nice.
Trump's never met a religious person. You know.
Well, he's probably met them, but he offended them so badly. They
walked away unless they were
Right.
white and
I'm like,
evangelicals. Then they voted for him.
I
But
just came here for the snacks, apparently.
Sure.
it's a
Nothing
nut
wrong.
festival. So it really is just.
We talked about balls earlier.
But it's fascinating. So the CNN documentary
Neat.
Watergate from a
Balls.
couple years ago, watch it. It's interesting, but this is it's so inside baseball, and you need a tiny bit of information going in. It's important to have.
So podcast first.
Yeah, with light read, just a little bit of like maybe a Wikipedia page.
I know how to do that. Sure.
On the highlights of Watergate, so break-in in the Watergate Hotel, pre-election, and they'll fill you in on the details of what Nixon was after was just fucking nuts. He was trying to rig the primaries.
Okay.
So he wanted to run against a certain person. So he wanted to Russia the primaries to make sure that he got the right opponent. It was just, it's crazy. But very, very interesting.
So Jenny is spot on with what kind of where I'm thinking. Like, Nixon had a little bit more, God, forgive me for saying this, but like chutzpah. Then
a little bit more
Trump.
Statesmanship. He could
statesmanship.
Yeah, he could put a little spin on it.
It was a little bit. It was a really different time too, though. Like everyone had a lot more politeness and a lot more.
Oh, and that's
really fair.
So important.
Yeah.
It's so important
Manners.
when you, or so not important, so impressive when
I'm
you listen
gonna
to
grab her pussy. Like I don't see that happening.
When you
he did.
When you listen to the Senate hearings, they have like audio from the Senate hearings. You hear the interviews on Dick Cavett. You hear people being interviewed on different show, or even the conspiracy theorist that was like a pretty big deal in that era, and she kind of like hit her stride right when Watergate happened, and she was telling people, the sky is falling, right. When you listen to them speak, there's like, I mean, their like education level and their eloquence through these things is so much different than the discourse today. Like while someone's yelling at you, they're using words like shant, and you know what I mean, like. And they're offended by someone saying "God damn," like they almost stop a Senate hearing over the word "God damn." Like it's a very different time, but in the so it's very interesting to hear, and it leads you down an ugly rabbit hole of Watergate, but it's fascinating.
I'm very excited because I've been having a bit of a podcast gap lately that I've been looking to fill.
And unfortunately, only 8 25-minute episodes, so it's not going to fill a lot of time. One good Pride ride's going to knock it out, but it'll lead you down other stuff.
Forgive me. Say it again.
Slow burn.
Thank you.
But they're saying a second season. They have so much more that could go on with this. Okay. Or they could just do Slow Burn about the Pentagon Papers and give you more detail on that.
Or like Bo Bergdahl or something.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, wasn't that the big thing that people got into?
Right, Serial.
Serial.
Which we're waiting for another season. I feel like it's been too long. I feel like since, what's his name in the South? What was the...
Oh, my God, that was a great podcast
Right,
series.
so I feel like Serial owes us. I feel like we're ready. Clayton. News headline.
How are we still on headlines?
We've already done it.
Like
Hi, Nero.
We went through every event of the Olympics since the time of the Olympics began.
Oh, we had a very special episode.
We did.
All right.
Yeah, touched by an Olympian was tonight.
So, and unless you have this in your two
me on
things,
the gold medal.
Democrat Connor Lamb, a former U.S. attorney and U.S. Marine Corps veteran, returning to represent Pennsylvania's 18th congressional district. The election is 2 weeks from today. It's not getting a lot of press. Trump won the district by 20 points. Mitt Romney carried it by 17. But the Republican Party is kind of already starting to make their apologies for losing this district because this candidate is so good and so charismatic. So you just gotta see how it's gonna go. This is 2 weeks from today. I will not be here, but make sure to keep me up to date because I'm really curious how this one goes. This is gonna be the test of Pennsylvania in their, the white working class that kind of threw the election on us. These are the assholes that gave the orange dumpster fire the election. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes and how coal is playing. This is coal miner country.
Okay.
So. So, and the best part was, wait.
I always love those little breaks where everybody stops talking.
No. So this we're all reading the internet.
But Tim Murphy has held the seat since 2002, but he's the one that was forced out of Congress in October when reports surfaced that he had urged a woman with whom he was having an affair to get an abortion. So remember, we made a big deal about him. So this is finally the rematch for this one, and it was seen as pretty much a gimme,
right,
for the Republicans. But we'll see how this works out. But like I said, they're starting to make apologies already. So
honestly, the Republican Party needs to die and be reborn as something else.
They do.
I'm so sorry.
Not the Tea Party either.
Right. I'm so sorry for actual conservative people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry to actual people that believe in things like states' rights and personal freedom, things that should be Republican ideals, because your party's been taken over by racist,
Fucking crazy
sexist lunatics.
You're right.
And your party needs to die.
Well, and what is happening with Scott Walker right now? There, he's being sued. Did you hear about that?
Because
Is that
he
right?
didn't hold a special election to replace seats because he wasn't confident he would win.
Okay.
So he did the Mitch McConnell thing of like just pretend it's not happening.
Right.
So he's being sued.
Do you kind of rolled your eyes when I said that? Like, do you think that it's just stupid, or
No, it's what should be done.
Oh,
It's
okay.
No, I wasn't rolling my eyes.
It's an awful thing that should happen.
okay.
I've got the glasses on, so I got to do a little bit of a head bob.
Okay.
Head
I
bob,
I
head
thought,
bob.
wait a minute. Okay.
Got it. So we've wrapped up headlines. You don't have any headlines.
I got nothing.
Right. That's all right. So we're gonna. So
I got
we'll,
no things.
So we'll do this because we need to tease this little segment.
Oh, the shortest of all segments, entertainment! It's the week before the Oscars. There's not a lot going on. So we have a beloved Bollywood actress has died.
Oh.
We've got records being set by a movie that everyone said would not make money.
Black Panther?
Yep. Well, from an idea that people said would not make money.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil the spoiler.
Oh, no, none at all. And then we have one of my favorite shows has gone serious on us from a comedy point of view, and it worked very well.
All right. Well, that's the end of hour 2. We got more coming up right after this with Entertainment with Al. Stay here.
Big man with a horn.
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Okay, that's enough.
Hey, God, look at that. We're back. It's hour 3 now.
I'm all hopped up on goldfish.
3 out of 3. Oh, yeah, hopped up on the real cheddar cheese flavor of goldfish, all the way from Pepperidge Farm, wherever that farm is.
Smiles.
Made with smiles.
That's right.
There's a lot of other words in the ingredients. I read it here just a minute ago. My God. The chat room has been very busy. Amina, Jenny, Annette, Meow Cow, my mom, Mama Di's in there. Of course, Al's in there as well. Harrison, I saw.
Aaron.
Bridget, is that correct?
Bridget.
Yeah, Bridget,
from
Jenny.
No,
North.
she's a local
There's
listener.
a-
No, Bridget's a local
Yeah,
listener.
but where? Remind
But
us.
she's up
She's
north.
up in.
Kingman.
She's up in Kingman,
Working,
okay.
She said she's working a
or at least is now.
believe
working
it.
a
I don't
swing, and one of her coworkers is
So many
snoring.
things.
No.
No, Harrison,
That
you
was-
just caught us on some weird timing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Nero
It's all
was
right.
in there.
Oh, I
Anyway,
didn't see Nero.
here's our segment about entertainment, and it's all done lovingly by Al Perkins.
Oh, hi.
That's when you talk, Al.
Okay. So,
That's called a toss.
Bollywood is paying tribute to Sridevi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. One of the Indian film industry's most popular actresses who died suddenly Saturday at 54 years old. Citing family sources, the Press Trust of India reported she died after suffering cardiac arrest in Dubai, where she was attending a family wedding. Bollywood greats and Indian political elites authored a flood of tributes on social media to the actress whose work spanned 5 decades and included some of the country's most beloved films. She started when she was 4.
Wow.
And she made her way into Bollywood movies at the age of 12 in a movie called Julie. And her first, so it says her first big movie was Solva Sawan. I don't know how my pronunciation is.
Oh, sorry, Rocky, you were in there too. My bad.
I said Rocky.
Yeah.
Where's
most
Bullwinkle?
watched, she was in some of the most watched movies of the 80s and 90s. Mawali, Tofa, and like I said, Mr. India, I can pronounce that one. And it says she was really one of India's first female superstars. It didn't matter who the male actors were; the movies were shouldered by her. In commercial films, she was able to deliver great performances, even when she was doing absurd stuff like playing a snake in the movie Najina. The performances were amazing. She raised 2 children with her husband, left the limelight, and then she came back in a movie called Judai, and just an incredible life. And I know there's some things about her story. Now they found out she died in a bathtub. She went a la Houston's.
Right. It was due to accidental drowning following loss of consciousness.
Wow.
So she was found in a hotel bathtub, and apparently he did not have his finger on the pulse of this one.
But absolutely, just a beautiful woman.
In fairness, nobody did.
No. It was a surprise.
So very sad, and you know, whenever a star like that's so big in the country dies, like everyone takes that hard.
Well, and it doesn't matter when it happens, but the idea that just at the end of a family wedding and
and 54 is young.
Sure, very young.
Very young. It gets younger every year.
It really does.
So
as you hurdle towards it, yes.
And then one of the big, English of English was the other one. I think that's the only one that I've ever seen was English of English. So, and there's always that argument against movies with women or movies with people of color that it won't play internationally, it won't play in China. So we now have Wonder Woman breaking box office records and making tons of money. And now we have Black Panther continuing its dominance. Disney and Marvel's Black Panther continued its box office domination this weekend, becoming only the 4th film to ever deliver over $100 million in its second weekend, as well as joining Jurassic World as the second fastest film to top $400 million domestically. But then when you go to international numbers, it's already, and we're only at maybe 11 days of release, literally 11 days of release. It's grossed $727 million in 11 days worldwide. Wow. So they're saying that this is on the trajectory of Titanic for speed with reaching that number, and Avatar for international numbers. Right. The boat did quite a good speed, but it was stopped short at 4 days. So,
did quite well for a time, and then it all went to shit.
At 11 days, it's already the 6th largest superhero movie of all time, the 15th largest IMAX feature length, the 6th largest comic book adaptation of all time. In the Marvel universe, it's already the number 3 movie of all time.
Wow. What are the 2 ahead of it in the Marvel universe?
Let's see. There was one, The Avengers, Marvel, The Avengers, and Avengers Age of Ultron. So it's only the movies that have all 17 of them together that have done better. All-time domestic, 22. All-time adjusted, 136th biggest movie of all time, adjusted for inflation. So that means you're competing with Gone with the Wind, which comes back into the theaters every 4 or 5 years. The Wizard of Oz,
and
movies
Jaws,
like that.
and Wizard of Oz,
Jaws,
and,
The Exorcist, still the
Star Wars.
Now let me see here, because I'm pretty sure it was rated R. Oh no, it was rated PG-13. So it can't compete with Deadpool, R-rated, like the highest grossing R-rated movies that by far and away, and there's not even anybody in the neighborhood, is The Exorcist.
Oh.
Like the amount of people that have seen The Exorcist far surpasses, like there's not even a movie that's going to come close in our lifetime with an R rating. So there's that. So all-time worldwide 94, those are never adjusted. So just kind of a big deal that this movie that's very political, and I think we talked about it last week.
I'm going to need to go see this because
unflinchingly political. And a friend of mine that I saw it with was taken aback. He was like, I did not think that Disney and Marvel would stick their toe in political waters, let alone dive in, shimmy around, do a couple backflips in politics. And
Esther Williams, this shit.
yeah. So, and as I said to him for my favorite SNL skit about Beyonce, when the world finds out that Beyonce is black, and they have all the white people like having riots in the street, and they're like, I don't get this. And the black lady goes, maybe it's not for you, but everything is for us.
Right.
And so he was like, I just didn't expect that to be so political. I'm like, maybe it wasn't for you. Maybe you're not, maybe you, white guy, are not the intended audience. You enjoyed it, but maybe the politics struck you as like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. Yeah, and there's probably a lot of people of other
Ethnicities and cultures
that are
not
uncomfortable
right.
by some of the shit we've been pushing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So maybe this one's not for you. But I mean, he loved the movie. I love the movie. It's terrific. But if you're expecting a movie about like poverty in Africa or the United Nations or like what you do with great power when you have it to not be political, you're kind of living in the wrong age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the female power in this movie is...
That's what I keep hearing. So literally every
And
podcast that I
gorgeous.
listen to all week has had a large segment about Black
Black
Panther
Panther.
this week. And all of them are women like applauding
Yep.
the
Oh,
powerful
yeah.
female characters in the movie.
And it's not one, it's not two,
No,
it's
there's
not
like
three,
7 of them. Like
yeah.
they rattled off about every like
Like-
strong black actress I could think of, and I'm like, what?
And I mean, it was not wrong. I mean, they're fucking hot.
Yeah, oh.
I mean, gorgeous. Just
If you, if you're not turned on by the end of that movie by something,
No.
I don't care if it's just the beautiful trees or the scenery, but if it's not this, like, the sexual power of, like, strong, confident people battling for what they believe in, I mean, it turns out it's a heady aphrodisiac. But, the proof is in the pudding, making money. So that's the good news when... that argument gets shot in the ass. You know what I mean? When Bridesmaids makes money, when these movies with different casts make money, it's always a good thing because that's what you need to get more made. Is you have to prove there is money there, and all movies are made to sell in China. Let's be honest. Like, you need the international money to pay Tom Cruise.
sure.
Right.
And I can't bitch because I like most Tom Cruise movies.
Now,
I
did
am unallowed to go any
He
further
looks
down that
good
road.
hanging off the edge of
Of
a
a
cliff.
plane. I
Like,
know.
What do you?
What do you need?
Hanging off the edge of insert dangerous thing here.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Sure.
matter. We all want to see Tom Cruise there. It's fine.
So the Bridget
And there's
mentions Get Out. Did you talk about that? Because and forgive me, because Ben and Abby, Aaron's brother and sister, have been talking about it.
Oh, we've been talking about this movie for over a year now.
So
Made
longer
big
than
money.
the heroin epidemic. Honestly.
Yeah,
I know, but the heroin epidemic really outshines everything on this this station. So
Because we're laser focused.
Oh, breaking news. I just got a text from my mother. She would love to see Black Panther. Well, I think we're going to go
love
see
it.
that this weekend.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, because they have been talking about it, and there's nothing about it that looks.
It's so good.
Everything. It just looks campy. It looks like. I mean, just the
Oh no,
pieces that I've seen. We have it. I have HBO because someone told me to
Browbeated you.
get more rent from my mother, but
I don't want to tell you
whatever
how to
it
live your
takes.
life, but you
Whatever
should
it
live it with
takes. Apparently it
HBO.
works.
yeah,
Yeah.
feel better, Harrison. Thanks
Feel
for joining
better.
us.
Bye, sweetheart.
Good night.
But there was nothing that struck me about it.
Oh,
and so
it's
we
terrific.
DVR'd it, and we have it. But I'm like, oh, okay,
And be ready because it's the spoiler at the Oscars.
okay.
It's the dark horse to forgive the pun, but it really is a spoiler.
Okay.
And it keeps winning. It just keeps winning stuff, and it keeps being nominated. We're over a year past its release, and it's still in the running for everything. The only thing I don't know is if the Producers Guild did their awards this weekend.
I actually thought they were. Oh no, tomorrow night is the. I just saw this on CBS Sunday morning. Tomorrow night they have there's an event where whatever orchestra in LA they gather and they play scores from all of the nominated movies.
Oh yeah.
That's tomorrow night in LA.
And I'm sorry, but the Producers Guild Awards were handed out a few weeks ago, and The Shape of Water did win, but Get Out was nominated, and Get Out has not been nominated for any Best Picture prize this entire year, and it's a terrific movie. I think I've seen it 6 or 7 times, and now it's on HBO.
Yeah.
So if it starts, I just can't turn away. I'm just
Okay.
Captivated.
When it gets to that 15 minutes of straight up comedy, I'm like just delighted by it.
And I know that
the guy petting his dog. I'm a TSA agent. Just fantastic.
I know that you've been singing the praises of the Blyja for quite a while, but she was on CBS Sunday Morning again. I didn't know any of her real life backstory about everything, just her life and how she grew up, and then the divorce, that she was actually homeless after a divorce, and she moved in with her producer for a while. Like, there was a whole big backstory to her. I get a little more respect for her. I still am not crazy about most of her music.
Oh, I'm a huge fan.
But there are certainly several, and actually a couple they played snippets of that. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh,
but it was very interesting, and then they showed some scenes from.
So she's
the
in
mud,
Get Out, or no?
No,
she's in Mudbound.
Totally different movie.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Mudbound, totally different movie. I'm sorry.
Which has the same cinematographer as Black Panther.
Okay.
But what they were saying was she's nominated not only for supporting actress in that, she's also nominated for song. So she has a chance to win 2 different Academy Awards.
Okay.
So again, they're just it could be cool. She could win both.
Yeah, and the song category is so like ripe with talent. Like, do you give the La La Boys, because The Greatest Showman is nominated there, and it's turned into this huge hit, and now The Greatest Showman's being compared with Titanic, where like it's not falling out of the top 10, so it just keeps making money.
Yeah.
Where everyone like wrote it off because it didn't debut as like I think Titanic did debut as the #1 movie, but it was a very small debut. But then it just chugged its way along and ended up being the highest grossing movie of all time because it never fell out of the top 5. And the same is happening with The Greatest Showman. It's still at number 6. Like, it's still the top 6, and we're like 2 solid months.
Because it's delightful. Haters, shut up. It's delightful.
We're 2 months and 2 days past its release, and it's still chugging along in the top 5 or 6.
Good.
Like,
I'm happy to hear that.
So do you give it to that? Do you give it to Mary J. Blige for this movie that's getting great reviews? Do you give it to Coco, which has a fantastic song?
Oh my God!
Yeah, there's so many. Again, it's one of the few times that
wonderful.
Best Original Song has a lot of talent in it, a lot of songs, a lot of movies, like there's a lot going on in that category.
That just came out on DVD, I believe.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna Redbox it.
I should have it because I feel like that's one of those movies. I mean, again, you can get there in Steel Magnolias, but if you just need just let it out.
Yeah.
Now Coco's going to be a go-to.
See, In-N-Out for me would be that go-to.
In-N-Out.
The movie.
Oh, with Kevin
Barbra Streisand.
No, I do love that one, but
the burger joint. Wait, I don't know what we're talking about.
Do you mean
Good Burger?
Huh?
Do you mean Up?
No.
In-N-Out.
In-N-Out. The only In-N-Out I know
is the Kevin Kline
movie about coming out of the closet.
Isn't that what it's called?
Onward and Upward?
No, what is it called that I'm screwing up?
Here to Eternity?
Give us some clues.
No,
what's it about?
Joy and sadness and.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, you're talking about the animated movie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Fuck.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Thank you. I'm like, wait a minute. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh,
that's my go-to for like just ball.
The line "Fuck Barbra Streisand" was not in
Inside
Out.
No, not in that movie.
Thank you for checking.
But Bing Bong was, and that made me lose my shit.
Because it's the pinnacle of the Pixar philosophy. What if toys had feelings? What if
right.
cars had feelings? What if feelings had feelings?
Okay, so we talked about that one. And then my last thing that I'll talk about is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, 3rd season. Due to the whole 30 days of Oscar, new cable box, choosing other things, it got booted off and I missed like 2 episodes.
I just got a notification that they added a season to Netflix. Though.
Right, so what they did was the 3rd season ended and CW needs this show to stay alive, and so does Rachel Bloom. Bloom. So, bam. I mean, that ended. I realized I was missing 2 episodes, and I woke up the next morning and it's now on Netflix, so it's a much shorter season. It's only 13 episodes. But what they did from the end of season 2, which you've seen, right? The wedding?
Yeah, I'm somewhere muddled in season 2.
Okay.
I sort of weirdly lost interest without losing interest.
So at the end of season 2, there's an event and a breakdown.
I'm not afraid of spoilers.
And then season 3 comes up, and they take the Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and somebody had the idea to what if we address this as a serious issue? Like, what if we take this funny show about a stalker and talk about what's wrong with this woman, and maybe have a serious conversation about this isn't really funny.
Okay.
And so we'll still have a comedy, but what if we actually delve into what's wrong with... Stalking. And what's her name on that show?
Rebecca.
Oh, it is Rebecca and
Rebecca
Paula.
Bunch.
Yeah, Rebecca Bunch and Paula. Like, what's wrong with these two women?
Okay.
So we start off with Rebecca for like the first half of the season, and then they get into like, why is Paula only interested in Rebecca when she's being nuts? Like, and why is she so obsessed with someone's obsession? So they kind of take it on, and they take on borderline
That's
personality.
so interesting.
Oh, wow.
And so they really look at borderline
I already
personality.
dated that. I don't need
Okay,
that
so
shit in my
Netflix
life.
says I did watch all of that, so apparently I'm caught up.
So,
We need to revisit then if you don't remember. You
but
might
they,
want to.
they
I'm very busy, Clayton.
They
I guess so.
tackle suicide. They tackle like what's involved with suicide and people like getting involved and trying to worm their way into it, and people saying like this isn't about you, but they're still keeping the show very funny. The songs are hysterical. The her therapist sings a song.
Aaron loves the show.
Oh my god, her therapist
Aaron's
sings a
all about
song
it.
like maybe this time from because everything's kind of like something
Isn't
else.
her therapist like an actual Broadway actress though?
Yeah, and I keep meaning to Google her and find out who she is, but she's terrific. So she gives you
I'm gonna
maybe
do that now for you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
she
Aaron.
does it maybe this time from Cabaret. Like maybe this
Oh,
time she's
maybe
gonna
this
listen. Maybe this time
time.
she's gonna like take therapy seriously, and maybe this time I'm just talking out my ass. But the best one is when they get to Paula's problem, and Paula finds her Josh. She finds the guy she's been obsessing about because it was the first penis she ever saw. So it's called First Penis I Ever Saw, but they do it like Mamma Mia.
Why wouldn't it
And
be?
they do it in this whole ABBA style in a grocery store.
First penis. Da 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 da.
Yep, you caught it.
Oh, that I ever saw. my, how can I resist
But they
you?
do the whole like one looks this way, while one looks this way, and her backup dancers are hysterical. They change all the labels on all the products to be what she's obsessed about. It's fantastic. But I really have to the fact that they're still pulling off a funny show with great songs, but really taking a look that they've been on long enough to be like, maybe we should help people out who might be doing this at home.
Sure.
That
And
this isn't-
thinking that
Fantastic.
we're
promoting
it.
this
or-
isn't funny. Like
Right.
if you know someone like this who's this crazy off the rails,
Sure.
maybe look into it. Maybe get some help. So it's really well done. So if you're not watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, just watch it because just watch We Tap That Ass All Over the Place. That song and that tap dance are just priceless. If you ever need to pick me up, just watch We Tap That Ass All Over the Place.
That is
To a tap number. All done to tap dancing.
Yeah, that's one of those shows that I watch but kind of don't watch.
Yeah.
I put it on and then I'm like doing other stuff and
Catch
Well, I
the
didn't realize I
words
had
or-
missed it.
No.
Like all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. Because when
There's
I
a
got the new
void
cable
in my
box,
day.
I got the cable box and I've been playing 30 Days of Oscars, so I've been picking all these movies from the Oscar canon that I have not seen or have not seen recently or just need to refresh on and see if they're still good. Because some of them don't hold up as good as you think they're going to. So it'll be like, well, this is competing with this. Do you want to not tape that? And I obviously at some point on a Friday night said, well, I guess I don't want to. But it was just funny when I realized it was missing. The next day it came
the
up.
very next day. That's
And I'm
funny.
like, wow, Netflix, there's no turnaround. Like, Feud is still not out on any
Right.
streaming channels. Oh, and then our two things. God, there's just so much going on. The NRA
Very
turns out
busy.
if you have questions about why we're boycotting FedEx tomorrow, just don't answer your door. Let them go. Or give them a little diatribe about they still support the NRA and offer a discount FedEx. And it turns out that the Amazon streaming, which friends have had questions about how can that have something, Amazon streaming streams NRA TV. So that's got to go. It's a terrorist organization. They're putting ideology over child's lives. So as Amina says, they're our Taliban. Like, we just got to own that shit. And Delta Airlines just got an invitation today to come to New
New York City.
because the lieutenant governor is threatening their fuel tax discount and saying if they don't offer NRA members the discount, they're going to fuck with their fuel tax incentive. So Governor Cuomo and the lieutenant governor and everybody are like,
come on. Bring it to New York.
And de Blasio said this. De Blasio was like, yep, we will welcome you because American Airlines used to be, Pan Am was in on the top of the Chrysler building. American Airlines used to be based out of New York. They're like, we need an airline again. Come on home.
I love it.
Oh, there isn't an airline that's based in New York anymore. Oh, didn't realize that.
So, so it would be a fun thing to watch the
Them just
lieutenant
pull up
governor
stakes.
have to explain why
Right.
millions of jobs were lost
bet.
in Georgia because he chose the NRA over
Right.
employment.
Yeah.
So
love
it's
it.
so all of a sudden it's a fun game of political chess.
Sure.
Very very interesting.
Absolutely.
So
Totally use
and
UPS.
just I mean congratulations to the rental car companies, the credit card companies, everybody that has realized we are not going to give a discount to people who support terrorists. Like, there's just no way around it. I'm sure NRA members don't realize anymore, but it's time to wake up and realize.
Well, that Dana Loesch, oh my
cunt.
God.
Cunt.
She,
Is that the dark-haired woman?
Yes.
Oh.
Remember,
She's
there's a whole
fucking
episode
cunt.
like 4 years ago where I was trying to get you all to remember her because she
Yes.
used to be the spokesperson of
Yep.
the Tea Party.
Yep.
And she was Cunty McCuntstein during the 2012 election, and I couldn't get anybody to know who she was.
I see, and
And
wait,
now,
I thought you were
bam,
talking
she
about.
shows up with the
There
NRA.
she is
She's
again.
been horrible, but
But she was the Tea Party darling that was
I thought
always
she
on
was-
CNN.
I thought you were talking about the one who said I'm not a witch.
No.
Christine Donnelly. Or
No, she's just a Tea
something.
Party member. This
O'Donnell.
was the Tea Party. She used to pretend she founded the Tea Party, and then
Okay.
she got called all kinds of cuntiness.
Oh,
on that.
She's fucking awful. There is one other thing in entertainment, which is very exciting if you guys and your Broadwayness appreciate Waitress.
Yes.
Sarah Bareilles. I mean, for real, but so good. But Catherine McPhee is going to be taking over for her.
Oh, very good. And just good that show is still playing.
Because we saw Megan Hilty this weekend, and she didn't have a lot to say about Catherine McPhee. Lots of other people, but it seemed kind
I
of.
feel
real
like there's not
limited.
much to say about Catherine McPhee.
No,
Listen, I've
but,
listened to some interviews. I feel like there's not a lot.
I just think her voice is extraordinary.
Oh, I do too.
I think she's.
Well, she should sing. Yeah,
amazing.
please sing.
Yes.
Please stand there and look like that and sing to me.
Right.
And she
Huh.
was raised as a singer. Like, her mom was a singing teacher. Like, she comes to it naturally, and she's very good. And she's got a hit TV show. That's the best part.
Right.
They're probably all bitter because
That I have to start watching
that
because I realized that she was on it.
Yeah, that nobody else got a show, but she's got that stupid Scorpion show, which is awful. It is, oh my God, it is meant for,
I
like,
have heard it's pretty bad.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But if you're at the gym or something, which is where I usually catch it, like, I just sit there and, like, watch it with my headphones on, and I'm like, all right, that made 40 minutes go by. Like, it's it just happens. It's kind of like the Big Bang Theory meets James Bond with a token female who happens to be Catherine McPhee.
Okay. Okay.
Either way, it's on my to-do list.
Yeah.
She wants to do Alphabet as well, and so that would be
Who does?
Catherine McPhee.
McPhee?
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
That's
Is
one
it
of her
confirmed
kind
that
of
she's going to
doings.
go be in Waitress?
She is. March 11th is.
Oh, and what a-
Sarah's
Well, they
last-
found time for her. Good.
But what a perfect vehicle for her voice. So
She-
that's
well,
right in her
beginning
wheelhouse.
on April 10th, actually. So
Because she's got to finish
March
filming
11th.
her hit TV show.
Right. Well, because when I had the loaner car and I had like Broadway satellite radio for a while,
right.
they had her on in an interview and they were talking about why she hasn't done Broadway, and it's because of her hit TV show.
Yeah.
Oh.
That they just couldn't find the time, and she said that she was in talks to do Waitress at that time, and then Sarah Bareilles decided, no, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
That's my show. I'm just gonna go do it.
But a terrific show, and that's an idea. That's a little engine that could. Waitress.
Oh,
Little show.
Yeah, Aaron plays
That 4
soundtrack
years
all the
later
time.
is still playing.
Which
still
original
in-
cast starred Kiala Settle
I don't know who that is.
of The Greatest Showman?
Yes. Oh. Wait a minute.
Shit!
So
I have no idea why I'm ringing a bell, but I am.
minding my own
excited.
business last
Yeah,
Wednesday at a
yeah,
Show Tunes
yeah,
night, a
yeah.
completely
Holy-
unscheduled, unsanctioned Show Tunes night.
I saw you check in.
Right. You can't call a bitch and be like, hey, I'm going to Show Tunes.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was Show Tunes. I was just going in for a little cocktail, and then they would not let up. That went on for hours. But
That's how we get you.
they played a number,
Bait and switch.
and there she shows up, and I'm like, okay, I ate the whole sandwich. I bit it. I got it. That little video where she's too shy to sing, and I don't like to sing in front of people. You've been on Broadway, bitch.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I bought that whole thing that she was nervous and shy and couldn't possibly do it.
Well, because
while we
Hugh
were in these
Jackman was
hotspots.
there. Right. Kiala Settle.
She's the bearded lady.
This is me. Like she really, the bearded lady.
The bearded lady that sings "This Is Me" in The Greatest Showman. They have that video where they sing for the producers to get the money,
Right.
and she's doing this whole like, "I'm shy," like I could never sing in front of people.
Okay.
And then she shows up. She's in she's from a Broadway show,
Got
and I'm
it.
like, "Oh, bitch, you've been on the boards.
Okay.
Just stop with that
Right.
shit."
But you know as well as I do, it's easier to perform for 5,000 people than
For
for
a big
5.
house than a small house, right?
Right.
They're
but
all
I mean,
stuck in a room this size.
but they made it seem like she'd never sung it. I mean, they sold that.
They
like,
really did.
Like
No,
she
that
was
was
an
a lot of-
undiscovered
I have problems
talent.
just in this room performing in front of you guys, just with voices and whatever I'm doing over here.
I know, but they just
You
made
do
it
it wonderfully. You
They,
can't
yeah,
help it.
they made it seem like they
shy.
plucked her out of the crowd and she
Super
had never been in the
shy.
spotlight
Yeah.
before. Because I think the thing that I saw her in was the after the Orlando shooting.
Oh,
the,
yeah,
What the
she's
World
in that.
Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love. And they showed her. I'm like, wait, I know that person.
Oh,
and
they
then
were on
later
that.
she
That's a good-
belts out.
so
I'm like,
familiar.
shut the fuck up.
That's a good playlist too.
Oh, it is. It is.
That was you got there on a good day.
It was terrific.
I said
You're
good day,
welcome.
sir. Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. Yeah, it was.
Well, no, because I leave selections. I don't leave my whole collection at the bar, but I load selections of show tunes like for the week or the month.
Bait.
Well,
It's
kind
bait. It's
of.
like chum.
Well-
She's throwing chum in
She's
the water.
chumming the water
Right.
for queers. Yeah.
Well, and I want to keep the good stuff for when I'm working.
Sure. I'm
Yeah.
with you.
Oh. So I tease it out there with some new stuff and some good stuff. You landed on a good day, sir.
And then Bridget and I were forced to miss the
the
Hamilton
sing-along.
sing-along. How did it go?
wonderfully. As is kind of my habit whenever I like have an unusual event that I'm kind of in charge of, I freak the fuck out the day of. So I was like all kinds of adrenaline that day, but no, it turned out wonderfully. People showed up, people sang, people.
Did the news guy come back?
No.
Okay, I thought maybe they might come back and do a follow-up story.
No, that would have been lovely, but no. We had a great time. We had a house full of Hamilton fanatics that knew every single word more than I did and just screamed it out at the top of their lungs like you can't at the theater.
Anybody show up in costume?
No costumes. Quite a bit of merch. A lot of people had, hats and shirts and things, and so quite a bit of merch and just like a just right time. You know what I mean? Like more people would have been unmanageable, less people would have sucked, but
oh, that's cool.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Like a just right time. Like it was really great feedback from it and a lot of fun
And it was a fundraiser also.
No.
Oh no, I thought there was part of it was a fundraiser.
It was a Kat Carlson loves Hamilton and wants to sing it at the top of her lungs while she's at work.
Okay,
so.
yeah. And then that's completely fair.
So
I just thought there was a tie-in.
All the right reasons.
I just thought there was a tie-in with
Sometimes bars just want to make money.
She was bartending, so it's a fundraiser.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
right.
valid.
The Kat Carlson T-shirt equipment fund.
The tip jar.
Right.
Yeah, all that. Sure.
No, I've been collecting videos and like music and tracks and like I've been collecting all of this shit for years now, right? Hamilton's been like 2 years of this obsession in this life, so I have all of this shit. I could do 4 sing-alongs in a row and never show the same lyric video twice. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Like I have all of this stuff, so it finally came up that we were in need of like something to put on a calendar, and Hamilton was here in town, and I said, well, let's do this.
Right.
And lucky for me, I work for someone who's willing to go, yeah, all right.
Yeah, why not?
What do you want me to do?
Right.
Right.
And he seemed very happy with it. Like
Yeah,
his response was good. The people that I knew that went were
Yeah.
very excited by it.
Yeah.
I don't know if Matt and Jacob made it
They,
in.
Jacob with a K, yes.
I saw him on Sunday.
Did you?
Jacob.
There's a internet conspiracist will tell you that Jacob and I are the same person because we are rarely in the same room together. And I sold that to Matt Maraska because Matt's like, wait, you just pulled the he was just here card.
Yeah.
Are you? So we may still be the same person. But no, Matt was late. He had it in his brain that the event was at 9. And so he showed up at 10. And Jacob with a K did show up.
That is funny because
Yeah.
as soon as he said he was thinking about going with Jacob, I'm like, well, I can't go because Jacob and I can't be in the same room together.
Jesus.
He's my first alternate. If he goes, then I'm covered.
Right. And
You can
Jacob
just-
and I are allegedly the same person, so we can't be there together.
Yeah. So I mean, that was just
But yeah, no, several people were looking for you. You know what I mean?
as was I.
Yeah. Matt came in. Jacob was asking about you.
I had no idea Matt
Mark
was even in
Martinez
town
came
until
by.
yesterday.
Mark
Who-
came by. And
Yeah.
I said, well, I don't fucking know. He's either sleeping or working.
I was wearing, and I oriented for
I
a new
understand.
job, not a new job, but a different job. Did the orientation for it to help out, and like the shifts that were available to pick up, that was one of them, and I was like, fuck. And it really was like they paid the money to train me and do all this stuff, and I'm like, well, I gotta dance like a little monkey for them if they paid for it. But
Sure. No, I get. I
you're going to
usually
Italy
choose
soon.
money over fun
Yeah.
too.
Right. So, but hopefully we'll schedule another one, and it's not like I don't have a Hamilton sing along in my car.
Right,
Except for
every
this time,
day.
This time, other people would be interrupting me.
I literally have. We could have our own if we want. We can
Yeah.
invite selected people. We could do anything we want.
But it was just true. I mean, your show tunes night without you on Wednesday, the music was terrific,
I'm
and
so
I was
glad.
with someone who likes music, likes musicals, just not a savant like I am, and he
Right.
was like, just enough, shut up.
Did it work?
No.
Oh, I was like, can we get him in here?
I found someone else to tell.
So the problem with My Show Tunes is that you can't just go expecting it to go like, Judy, Barbara.
Right.
Baby. You can't just expect the tops. No, you go deep into the ridiculousness.
It's way inside baseball. And the best part was I would be like, well, this has to do with, and that song would start. And I'm like, oh, we are in a wavelength. I'm like, well, this would tie beautifully. Oh, she did it again.
Cheesy.
Because I sit at home and do that in my brain, and I go, oh, put this one there. Oh, put that one there.
And Brick, what's his name?
Brock.
Brock was hysterical. He's like, you're just calling him now. I'm like, he's like, you just know. He's like, you're just figuring. I'm like, I kind of got into her mindset. Like, I see where she's going with some of this.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is a repeat. We already saw this number.
No, but not by this artist.
No, it was a repeat. He's like, I like the song, and you're gonna sing along to the whole thing anyways. And I was like, that's true.
That's fair.
I think it was Buenos Aires. Like,
oh
yeah,
that's a good one to repeat.
I was like. Oh, and Bridget's date had to watch shitty reality TV, so I'm mad at her.
No.
There's that.
You got to dump them if they watch reality TV. My whole point of this entertainment section is to keep you off reality TV.
American Idol ruined America.
Partly.
Now that Bachelor show did.
Oh,
American Idol started the whole fucking thing. That whole elimination style.
I
will
like
have
Survivor's
this rant
first.
every single week.
I feel like Survivor's first.
Was it?
Yeah, I think Survivor's first.
I've been on the wrong rant.
Oh, that got off.
I'm not apologizing to Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah,
I won't do it.
Oh, and he's recently accused of.
Oh, you know who I forgot in the entertainment realm who died? Was it Thursday? Nanette Fabre.
Oh, yeah, super old.
Yeah, 95 or somewhere in there.
Oh
I
yeah.
did not know that.
Yeah, I just saw it. I forgot why it was on, but it was just on it. Nanette Fabre passed away.
Oh, and I found it terrific because I was down the rabbit hole today. Terrific interview with Joy Behar and Betty White. That is so funny when Joy Behar had her show on HLN.
I don't know anything about that. Well, I have to. Is that on the YouTubes?
Yep.
We'll have to look that up. Unless there's something else you specifically want to talk about, I actually have a thoughtful vulgarity that so I thought we'll do that, and then it engages us all to talk a little bit more. And Al, is that okay with you? Yeah. Okay. I like to clear.
Judges say yes.
I like to clear with him.
Yeah.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. Because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
That's why they rushed the Donna Summer.
All right, so our thoughtful vulgarity on this evening. If you'll recall, a week or so ago, I made a comment about a friend of mine, which I think, I don't know if all of us know him. I'm pretty sure you know, Marshall Shore, the hip historian here in town, who does a lot of, he's phenomenal. He tracks a lot of Arizona history. He came to me specifically needing some back history of some bar. Not that I keep all the knowledge of all the old gay bars in town, but I obviously, with my connection to Winks and being around as long as I had, he got information from me. He's got information from a lot of other people. They've also organized. I think he was part of. You recall Gina Florio years ago doing the one at Cobalt where all the bar owners talked? He was part of that in some way. I don't know if he just gave her the idea or how that came about. But anyway, he told me that they're looking to do another session like that where old bar owners or whatever, even older customers come in and tell stories from yesteryear and whatnot.
Well, that's fun. I want to go.
So whenever that comes up, I'll let you know.
Oh, that one that I went to was a terrific panel.
But what
Fernelli and Tony Bartoli. And
but the story that I told you about him a couple weeks ago was he put a post on Facebook looking for a 12-inch of vinyl of the album of Culture Club's Karma Chameleon, which I have because I have all that. So the reason he needed it is because, do you remember the old Coronado Cafe here in town?
Yeah.
Okay. Changed ownership. It's now just called the Coronado, and a couple gals own it. I guess it is lesbian owned, regardless, but apparently it's fabulous still. They do a thing.
What does that mean?
They do a thing once a month.
Let it go. Just let it go.
They do a thing once a month called Vinyl Voices. This is what he needed that album for, an actual album, because the deal is it's not on iPod, it's not on cassette, it's vinyl. That's their deal. And they have an actual DJ that plays it. Well, the reason is they ask different people each month, 3 or 4 people, and the deal is that you tell a story about the relevance of a song to you in your life and what it means, or why it's important to you, why the song is important to you.
Fun.
And then they play the song. In some cases, he said, some people have never heard whatever the song is. It could be a deep track from an album that nobody you knew, like the popular songs of it, but maybe there's one track that's in there that like he has tracks on Donna Summer albums that I would never remember that he knows and he loves. I have them all, but I don't remember them.
Right.
So anyhow, I thought we would go around and tell a story, which I think we've probably touched on this a little bit before with regards to music, but I was thinking if there's a song, and we're not going to play the song, but tell a story about
copyright laws.
A song that it was hugely important and the story behind it, and see how that works. So I thought we would do that.
Oh my gosh, it's a huge question.
And I'll let just take a second, think of whatever song, because there's a lot of fucking music.
I know. I feel like I should have been able to study.
On the drive to Palm Springs, I started with Studio 54 channel, then went to 80s and 90s, and we settled on 70s on 7. And Eric Carmody and I sang every goddamn song, and you forget, oh my God, how many fabulous, wonderful songs are. And the nice thing is also the Sirius XM tells you what year it is. So he was like, oh my God, this song came out. What year? And I pushed, and he goes, oh God, I was in 8th grade. Like we would figure out. And it was just an interesting way to go down memory lane by hearing all the old songs. But it's funny, you know every word. You don't realize you know every word. So anyway, anybody want to go first if there's a song that meant something to them? And
that's all Al. That goes.
Start with Alfie?
Yeah.
I mean, we've told so many about coming out to Glenn Fry, to A Different Corner by George Michael, and Making Me Move Here. I guess the one that came to mind quickly, just because we've been talking about show tunes, is like relationships and sleeping, and like always feeling like I have to fix it. Like there's never anyone to like rely on. Like that everything's all right from Jesus Christ Superstar. Like sleep in, I shall soothe you. Just someone just saying, I got this. Like, you go to sleep. Like, it's kind of been, like, my goal in life is kind of, like, for a partner is for someone to be like, just sleep. I got this. Like, you don't have to, like, stay awake worrying about this. And it's that everything's all right from Jesus Christ Superstar is, like, just the most fabulous lullaby to me of, like, what I would want from someone. Like, you can just let me, like, just cover it so I can sleep. I don't have that kind of insomnia anymore, but I've just always been a fan of that lyric and the sleep and I shall soothe you, calm you, and anoint you. Just lovely. Just a lovely sentiment. And so I always think of that, like, for if I was ever going to let somebody live with me.
If.
Don't do it. It's the worst.
And it doesn't have to be as an emotional attachment to the story. Just a song that has a story that's connected to. So it could be any number of things. Because I know Marnie doesn't always like to delve into the emotional cut of a story. So
that is.
I want to give you the freedom to pick. I don't care if it's a tailgating party at a football game in Minnesota. Like if there's a certain song,
Actually, there is.
Okay.
And I think it just kind of speaks for itself. I was going to be a smartass, and I looked up songs that have chili cook-off in them.
I'll bet a lot of them are country songs.
They are, as a matter of fact. But
by the way, the 23rd or 24th of March at Charlie's is the Marla Hooch cook-off that used to be at Roscoe's.
Oh, you're kidding.
You got it. I think you should be required to go.
I would love that.
Okay.
But mine would be You've Got a Friend with either
Carly Simon
or Carole King.
Carole King, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a line. That's a line from the Full Monty. You've got a friend like Carole King said, or Carly Simon. I can never tell them apart.
Oh my God, that's funny. I was going to say, or James Taylor,
literal
the Carly
lyric.
Simon.
Yeah, literal
coming
lyric.
together there. Anyway, I just that song just If I'm answering the question correctly.
Yeah. Oh, and Fire and Rain by James
Fire and
Taylor.
Rain, come on.
I can cry in the middle of a grocery store for that song.
Kind of anything James Taylor.
Yeah.
I think would be
just
simple,
kind of gets you and makes you melancholy.
Absolutely.
as I was-
Otherwise, Dan Fogelberg. That would be my. Those are like the Old Lang Syne.
Oh,
Dan
another Old Lang
Fogelberg.
Syne. Yeah.
Those would be my two. Kind of just invoke all the feels.
You went a lot. You're both going a little more emotional than I am.
I have a tradition on New Year's Eve that I started a long time ago that sometimes not everybody's in on, but I like to play one sad song and one happy song on New
And
Year's
you
Eve.
play Bette Midler? No.
Sometimes it depends, but sometimes it's just another Old Lang Syne by
Okay.
Dan Fogelberg because that song is so melancholy.
It is. I agree.
But sometimes it's Bette Midler, Shiver Me Timber. Sometimes it's a little something. Just you need something a little blue and then something a little happy to get you ready for the new year.
Yeah, those two I would say, and actually more Carole King than James Taylor when it comes to You've Got a Friend.
Yeah, beautiful version.
Yeah.
So I clearly, unless I'm watching a musical, I'm cold and dead inside. So I don't actually.
Wait. She speaks the truth.
Oh my God.
I don't actually experience human emotion unless it's through Broadway musical and tap dance.
Right.
But like the soundtrack of my life, so music is time periods for me. And so a fun, like the very first thing that sprang to mind was kind of a childhood memory, and an actual childhood memory. I was an actual child.
Ooh.
I know.
No, the rest of us have been.
No.
I was not.
I missed that part.
Birth, 19 years old. That's all I.
But yeah, if I were to tell a story and then play the soundtrack of it, it would be the Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Okay.
And the story.
Best musical about abortion ever.
Seriously, how many musicals about abortion do we need? Only one.
Only one.
And we've got a good one.
Just that one. Yeah. Out of the park the first try. No need to make another one.
But one summer, many, many years ago, that was apparently the only cassette in the car for like a 16-hour drive to Montana with my mother and her sister, and then me and my sister in the back seat, and we were just driving to Montana over the summer for whatever the family gathering was.
Right.
And that was literally the only music that we had the entire time. And it's kind of a fun memory because clearly every song on, and we had both of them. We had Dirty Dancing and then the sequel soundtrack, More Dirty Dancing.
More Dirty Dancing, yeah.
Because there were 2 cassette tapes.
For the songs that weren't quite included.
Right.
Sure.
And just some of the other songs again.
Yeah.
Which is very fun.
Oh, that is fun. I like that.
But yeah, I can go through, the parts of my life that I haven't already just mentally blocked out and just add music to them.
Oh, yeah.
As time goes, yeah. Like I could be a miserable like high school teenager listening to clearly Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill in a like a red Volkswagen convertible that the girl up the street drove.
Right.
Because I wasn't allowed to have my car because I was a bad kid all the time.
And
it was sitting in the driveway, but I wasn't allowed to drive
And
it.
through all the bad junior high stuff, there was Pat Benatar albums that just got me through all of it. Like I just, oh my God, just screaming Wuthering Heights at the top of my lungs and don't let it show.
No Natalie Cole in there?
No. That one was
Kristen.
that was
I
a
miss you like crazy.
no, this one was a loving tribute.
Oh, the poor cat.
It's a loving tribute.
Where's Hannibal? Where's Hannibal?
Hard to tell the difference. That one was loving.
But yeah, 16 hours, one soundtrack.
I moved out here to the Erasure album over and over and over again with a couple songs in between, but mostly it was just Erasure.
I can see you driving the Missy Almobile here.
I had never heard it, but Tim had just bought it, and we decided to listen to it. He knew one song, and I didn't know any. He introduced me to Erasure at the beginning of the drive, and by 3 days and a whole country later, we knew every single word and had choreographed like roller skating numbers to it. We were
well played.
Yeah.
Well played. As you should.
What do we got going on there? Baby, I'm Amazed from Lone Star. Okay. That's a good song, too.
What was yours?
Yeah, but this one time a friend of mine was awfully drunk and sang it, Baby, I'm Amazed, and so now I have to sing it that way from now on.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that.
I can't hear it otherwise.
Well, another friend, first of all, another friend of mine won't tell me what he thought the song, I'd really like to see you tonight. I'm not talking about
your Lennon.
Right.
The Lennon. I have to say, but he said what he thought was not Lennon, but he, to this day, will not tell me what he thought it was. He said, because you'll never let it go. I'm like, well, I can't imagine what else it would be. I'm not talking about moving in is the lyric, but everybody else says I'm not talking about the linen or whatever. What the hell could you possibly have thought it was?
I'm not talking about John Lennon. Maybe.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
No, but he said, but he'll still to this day not tell me whatever it was.
England Dan and John Ford Coley. I know all the hits.
As we were driving to Palm Springs, America came on, and it was funny because we're driving through the desert.
Yeah,
Been through the desert on a horse with no name. Love to get out from the rain. My story is, and I believe, and I know I've shared this before. Mom's heard the story before. I know I've told on this, but when I think of that story, I think of that having to tell a story related to a song. It's in 1984, winter of 1984. Picture it. It's my mom had gone on a business trip to Hawaii, and we were left under the care of her younger sister.
You're on camera.
Oh, I understand that.
No,
her.
Oh.
Sorry, I should look at the camera when I do that.
Yeah, and my mom's watching you do that. Whatever.
Yeah, that's why I'm like.
So, anywho, we were left under the care and jurisdiction of my Aunt Susie, and this was part of, Wham had come out with "Make It Big." There was "Wake Me Up Before You Go" and "Freedom" and all this. Well, they had then released the Wham featuring George Michael, the "Careless Whisper" track. Well, I had been in a pursuit of trying to find somebody in that fucking city that I lived in to figure out how to do highlights like George had, because that's all I wanted.
Oh.
You gotta get the weird hat and pull this.
So we'd gone through
crochet hook.
We'd gone through a couple things of that, and it just became. I looked like Opie, like it was just orange. Like I looked like that bag of fucking goldfish.
Oh, because you gotta strip it out because your hair's too dark.
Well, my hair was so dark, and they didn't lift it enough. Well, so I'd wind up with orange.
Now he knows all the words.
Oh no, yeah, all that. So went through. They didn't lift enough. It was orange. It came out this. It wasn't brassy enough because George's hair was whatever brassiness they had going on with it. I was in love with all of it, not realizing it was white, but they were using a gold filter or gold lighting to make it. I didn't know all these tricks at the time. So I decided, fuck it, just platinum my hair, platinum it. And so they did. I was completely toe-headed. I was as blonde. I was Susan Powder. At some point, like I was as blonde.
Or the character Powder.
So I then one.
No, he was bald.
Either one.
Oh, true.
Yeah, no, I wasn't bald. I was just completely.
It's true.
So I then get the hair again. Mom's out of town, care of her sister. I go to school the next day. White hair in this little town of this high school. Well, then again, and I'm dressed in a long black. Not a trench coat, but it was the long coats they wore in the 80s. I was in that. I'm riding around with my aunt in her car, and I think my cousin was with me. The cousin that Mike that flies now. And I decided that I couldn't do this anymore. But we're driving around. Careless Whispers on the radio. We're in my aunt's 78 280ZX, which is black, and there's 4 inches of white snow on the ground, and I'm in white platinum hair. I decided that we couldn't do this, and Mom was coming back the next day. Go to Safeway, dark hair color my hair back.
Kitchen chemistry way through this.
Got it all the way through. No pictures were taken, and Mom gets back, and of course, in my innocence and naivete, I think I'm just gonna pull off this entire thing. And she's like, Mom walks in. The first thing she says is, "Why is your hair so much darker? Why something's wrong?"
Head.
Right.
And then it was discovered that Clayton had platinumed his hair, and the only thing she was mad about was, why were there no pictures taken?
Right. Oh, God. That's
a good mom.
Real.
Why were there no pictures taken?
And on that line, after all the years of having dyed my hair red, I just got some little kid, one of my friend's kids, was like, "Why is your hair orange sometimes?" Because trying to keep up red hair in Arizona with the chlorine from being in the pools all the time in the sun,
right?
Just you turn into the Joker real quick. It just goes brassy in a heartbeat.
I bet.
So I stopped dyeing my hair, and then I was in Vegas and met up with my mom. And we were in the casino, and she was drinking, and she kept looking at me funny. I'm like, "What are you looking at?" She's like, "I just don't know what made you pick that hair color." She's like, "I don't like this one." I'm like, "It's my real hair color. God picked it." And she was like, "Oh my God." She's like, "All the years that I tried to get you to stop dyeing your hair."
And this is what we got. Thanks, Mom.
I'm like, oh, you just stepped in it. So let me just bore you with a little bit of a lyric because I love this. It's try not to get worried, try not to turn on to problems that upset you. Don't you know everything's all right? Yes, everything's fine. And we want you to sleep well tonight. Let the world turn without you tonight. If we try, we'll get by, so forget all about us tonight. And I just have always loved that as like a lullaby. Just go to sleep. Take it from an insomniac, that anytime somebody sings something about sleeping,
I'm trying to imagine that a little more soothing without it being your voice.
Yeah.
So if it's
he's
in
not
a lullaby,
shrieking.
in a lullaby.
Not to turn on to problems that upset you. Don't you know everything's all right? Yes, everything's fine.
Oh,
Let the world turn
much better.
without you
Mucho
tonight.
Botero. Thank you.
If you try, you'll
That's
get
good.
by, so forget all about us.
Oh.
It's lovely.
It's lovely.
Very nice.
Then they start screaming about myrrh and frankincense.
Missing someone like crazy. There you go.
Missed you like crazy.
They really do start to scream.
All right.
Oh.
Well, I think that is enough of a show for 1 week.
That's funny.
We got a lot in.
We did. Kat was here for
It
all
was
of
the perfect amount for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for somebody who had absolutely nothing
Just
prepared.
enough, yeah.
Just
She'll be
enough.
late next week as well.
I just came for this next.
And we learned that the horses don't name is about heroin, so it's still laser focused.
It's quite all right.
Yeah, we have our finger on the pulse.
Not everybody's pulse, just most people's. It's all right.
Certainly not Whitney's.
Oh.
You know what she'd be doing if she was alive right now?
Heroin. Let me out, let me out, let me out, let me out.
Oh my God.
Swimming?
Still
There's
funny.
that still- yeah. Wow.
It's funny every day.
Anybody
I tell it
there?
Every day.
Anybody there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, everybody in the chat room, thank you all for being in the chat room. It was very active tonight. Thank you so much. As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought.
thanks,
We
guys.
will see you next Tuesday.
No one ever asked me to sing.